Welcome, everybody, to Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and we've got a really, really cool show. The shift is happening now, and we are really excited to be partnering with the Shift Network tonight. We've got several other key people with us. They're presenters, they're musicians, Stephen and Deva, who created the Shift Network. It's going to be a really exciting show. For those of you in the Zoom room, and I see we've got about 150 now, please tell us your names and where you're from. And I want to welcome all of you watching on Unify and on Facebook. And we really appreciate all of our broadcast partners. And this is where I like to kind of bring it up. There we go. These are our broadcast partners, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. We're really excited to be having Unify carrying us. They've been carrying us the last few weeks. And so any of you watching on Unify, whether you're watching live or the recording, I've noticed that we have a lot of people from around the world who watch the recording on Unify. So welcome to people from Europe, South America, even Africa and Australia. Welcome. I also want to thank our other broadcast partners, Disclosure Fest, Global Days of Unity, Earth Dance Global, Awake TV, the Sign Network. We've got John and Summer, who are the creators of the Sign Network, with us tonight, and you're going to hear from them. So we're really excited about that. Thank you, John, Summer. Our good friend Alan Steinfeld with New Realities TV. I know some of you are watching on his YouTube channel right now. Our other broadcast partners are Portal to Ascension, and then my company, the Love Coach Academy. And for any of you watching, please, you got a couple of things that you can do. We always love it when you share out to the audience. So of course a child comes by at the exact moment that I'm talking. So my dog is barking. This is what happens. We're all coming from home. All right, boobles. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Sorry about that. Now you know we're all coming from home. I want to talk a little bit about what this show tonight, we're really focusing on this incredible moment in time and the Shift Network. And in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, 2 weeks from yesterday, is when the Shift Summit and Music Festival is going to happen. And you're going to be learning all about that. Some of the wonderful speakers and presenters from that show, that weekend, are going to be with us tonight, including Krishna Das, Donna Delori, and Chief Bill Lane, and several others. So we're going to be learning all about that throughout the evening. And again, before my dogs barked and kind of threw me off, if you're watching on Facebook, share it out. Click share, send it out. Last week, we had over 200 people sharing it on Facebook. And because we've got John and Summer in the Sign Network, I know we always go out on somewhere like between 50 and 100 of their groups. So that's a really wonderful thing that you can do. One last thing is, if you are watching on Facebook, it's not too late for you to come on into our Zoom room here. And if you want to come into the Zoom room, just go to globalpeacetribe.com, and that's where you can register. And there's a lot of good things about registering. That way we know you. You can come into the Zoom room, and in the Zoom room, you can ask questions, you can interact with our presenters and our musicians. We even have a program at the end of this show called Community Connections, where you can come on for a minute and share what you were inspired by. It's like, wow, I loved Krishna Das's music, or I really was impressed with what I see that Stephen is creating. So we love to hear from you, and that takes place towards the end of this show, but you got to be in our Zoom room to do that. Also, by registering, you're going to get the show schedule, you're going to get to see all of our pre-show programs, and you receive a special gift package, and you get access to 15 weekly live online shows that my organization, Love Coach Academy, puts on. So please do come register. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to my co-host and producing partner, she who makes all things possible, Deborah Giusti.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome everyone to what is now our 22nd show that we've produced every Saturday night during the lockdown, during these highly challenging but very evolutionary times. And it's the sixth show of our new season. We've got 3 more amazing shows coming. And we're planning for 12 more shows, October to November. And again, thank you for all your donations and support, because that's what allows us to produce these incredible shows at the highest level that we can do. And this is a very special show tonight. Our theme is Let's Make the Shift Happen, Time to Redesign the World. And a lot of us have been talking about the shift for a long time, but wow, these times are really incredible. It's a really evolution of the planet, and it's a collective evolution. Everyone in the world is experiencing this, and the shift is really possible. Responding to the effects of COVID has inspired a worldwide evaluation of oneself, one's life, one's community, and the world. And it seems like everything that's been highly dysfunctional and hidden is coming up to the surface to be revealed and healed. And everyone's feeling that it's time for a reset, a redesign, possibility to create a new world and to create this together. But what do we want to create? And how do we want to work together to empower the positive opportunities that are available now? And what is our individual roles? So that's the show that we've put together for you. And it's very much a part of the Shift Summit and Music Festival that's coming up in a few weeks. So a lot of these presenters you'll be able to see in full on that broadcast. And now I want to let you know who's coming on. We will have Grandmother Flor de Mayo, who is going to give us a blessing. She is an incredible Indigenous elder, well known as part of the International Council of 13 Grandmothers. And we have Chief Phil Lane, who's an enrolled member of the Yucatan, Dakota, and Chickasaw Nation, and is internationally recognized leader in the human and community movement. And we have Sandra Ingerman, a world-renowned teacher of shamanism. We're also going to have Stephen Dinan, who is the founder and CEO of Shift Network and a producer of the upcoming Shift Summit and Music Festival. And there's Stephen Dinan. Hello, Stephen. And we're going to have his wife, Dayla Haley Mitchell, who's a spiritual guide, public speaker, and chief transformational officer, which she co-founded with the Shift Network with Stephen. We're also going to have John Raymer and Summer. John's an entrepreneur, civic leader, inventor, and he with his wife, Summer Joy Raymer, have created the Compassion Games, the Sign Network, and upcoming events that they're going to have here shortly. And Phil Hemmick is former director of Peace of the Shift Network and currently a Peace Ambassador. And we're also going to have Reverend Alaya Majan, founder of the Next 50 Year Project, which is focused on finishing what the civil rights movement left undone. And we'll be featuring Krishna Das. We're so happy to have him with us. He'll be coming on later. We also have Donna Delory, who's an incredible singer, songwriter, music producer, and James, there's Donna, and woohoo, and James Twyman, who's known as the Peace Troubadour. We're also going to have magician Paul Draper, who's a mind reader and comedian. So, hi, Paul. And we let you know that you can still invite people to come on the Zoom room. I'll post the link in the chat where you can sign up. We invite you to share on Facebook. We will have community connections at the end. And one really important thing that we've done from the very beginning of the show is we use this opportunity to not only broadcast all this incredible love, vibration, information out to the world, and truly it gets all around the world because people join us from all over. We use that opportunity, we broadcast to you free, and then we request that you send that love back to us in the form of green love energy donations on our GoFundMe. And then we'll take that and we'll give it to a nonprofit or someone in need in our communities. And this has been amazing. We've been able to give almost at least $1,000 to every nonprofit that has come. And that's been about 22 nonprofits or individuals in needs. And tonight, we're going to make a big difference in the life of Trevor Fry, whose whole life changed in an instant when he had an accident and received severe brain trauma. But he's a trooper and he's hanging in there and he's coming back to health, but he did not have insurance. So our green energy money love will help him tremendously. And also, you probably know that we've had a lot of fires here in California. Hannah and August went back to their home and found their whole home gone. And so we're going to be able to make a difference in their life tonight by the money that you'll be able to send to us in the GoFundMe. And I'm going to put the GoFundMe link in the chat room, or you can go to GoFundMe and type in Global Peace Tribe and you can find us there. So now we can get on with the show. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Deborah. We always love to start our show with music. And we're really happy to have Donna DeLore come back. She's one of our favorite musicians. And it's funny, I can see Donna just went up the stairs as I was about to introduce her. So there she is, she's back. Donna, yay!
I had to turn the little wall unit off so you can hear me.
So yeah, just as I'm introducing, I saw you running up the stairs like, uh-oh. So thank you. Hey, it's great to have you back with us, Donna.
It's great to be here, everyone, with you on this beautiful evenings in this beautiful event. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What do you got for us? And by the way, we've got two songs from Donna tonight, one now and one in a little while. What do you got for us, Donna?
Well, I just released a remix album. It's called Here in Heaven Remixes and Bonus Tracks. And I'm going to be singing along with a couple of the remixes. So if you guys feel like it is Saturday night, if you feel like moving, push that chair away, get on up, loosen up those hips, do a little stretching, and we're going to say some prayers, sweat our prayers here. This is called Listen, and there's a mantra that's very, very special to me. It's Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. 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 Let's do it again. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta. Can you hear the music enough? Sukhino. Good? Here we go. Listen to the voice of your heart. What's your heart saying? Listen to the sound of your soul. What's your soul saying? Listen to the voice of your heart. It's asking. Listen to the sound of your soul. It's calling you. In this life that we're living, there's a voice that speaks within. People of the heart, listen, 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 listen. Listen, listen to your heart. Listen, to the voice of La Madre. She's crying, she's wanting us to wake up from this dream, start believing in each other, in this life that we're living. There's a voice that speaks within, people of the heart need Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.
Oh, thank you so much. What a beautiful, beautiful, perfect way for us to start this special show. Wow.
Yeah, I hope you could hear me enough. I was leaning into the mic because at sound check, you said you couldn't hear the mic enough. So thumbs up, we're good.
Thumbs up.
The next song, yeah. All right.
And I want to, invite everybody that we always want to support all of our presenters and especially our musicians at this time where they can't go out, they can't tour, they can't play like normally. Donna has a brand new remix out. Tell us a little bit, we're on your website here, Donna. Tell us a little bit about what's available.
Well, on my site, you can see all kinds of videos and new releases, and then all of my albums are there with little samples of every song and links to buy or listen. And that's my rooster you're hearing.
Great.
Yeah, it's awesome. And there's just all kinds of information there. You can dig as deep as you want to go into my music. I've been making music for many, many years. I started out like more in the pop rock genre, and all right, that's Webster. And I ended up, it's a long story, but some of it is in my bio on my website. I ended up making devotional music, and I love it. I love being here with you. I love your energy. I love seeing the gallery and seeing you guys dance and everything. That's what I'm here for, to just uplift spirits and open hearts. And I'm just living my purpose, and I'm happy to be here with you.
Well, thank you so much, Donna. And Donna will be back. She's going to give us another tune in a little while. So, and just want to welcome all of our friends in the Zoom room where we've got about 300 people now. Let us know your name and where you're from. It's always fun to see. And I'm now going to turn it over to my partner, Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. And now I get to introduce a man that is really all about the shift. He's actually made his mission, his life mission, about the shift. Stephen Dinan is the founder and CEO of Shift Network. That was founded in 2010 and has served over 700,000 people worldwide in 150 countries. It offers virtual summits, courses, and trainings, has 50 core facilities, and it offers topics of spirituality, peace, holistic health, psychology, parenting, shamanism, enlightened business, indigenous wisdom. And now he's taking on really bringing together a high level of speakers, music to converge in 2 weeks, September 18th-24, for the Shift Summit and Music Festival. An incredible undertaking that's coming along really well. And are we going to show that video, Scott? I'd love to show that first to give people a sense of what they're going to experience. And then Stephen will talk about the shift and also what he's bringing to everyone during the conference of the Shift, Summit, and Music Festival.
Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival. Shift, Summit, and Music Festival.
Beautiful. And I want to introduce Stephen Dinan.
Well, thank you for Donna getting us moving and the beautiful introduction, Deborah. I just want to invite all of us to hold the possibility that we are living in the shift, which is not just the Shift Network. It's like the Renaissance was to an evolution of culture in Europe. I think we're at that same cusp for a moment globally, where we awaken to our shared unity as one human family, where we recognize that we have to create peace on this planet, that we have to live sustainably, and that it is time to put aside the war and the domination and the injustice, and really design a society that brings out the best in us globally, that we're really in this, and I believe that all of us who are on this call actually incarnated for this purpose. We all have different threads of this massive tapestry of change. I think of it like an upgrade of the entire operating system of how we do things. It begins with our own consciousness. It takes shape in our communities, and it also gets traction in new laws and new kinds of businesses and all sorts of systemic shifts as well. Before I launched the Shift Network, I didn't, come up with the name, the Shift Network. That actually I inherited it in many ways from James O'D, who said, we have to brand a previous program that I created around the shift, and people started creating the Shift movie. And I started intuiting that there's actually a thing that we're all intuiting wants to happen, which is a shift, really an epical turning point for humanity. And I think what we're doing in 2020 is basically kind of a bottoming out of the old pattern. We're experiencing a lot of the degradation, the disruption, the polarization that is symptomatic of living as separate egoic self, selfishly interested and not focused on creating something that really serves the global whole. And so we're experiencing the shadow side of the old so that we can birth the new. Before I even launched the Shift Network, I felt 2020 was going to be a big year for the planet. And I started to activate visions and ideas around September 21st, 2020 as a day to unify the world and really activate better visions of what's possible. So that was the birthing context for the Shift Summit and Music Festival. We realized this year with coronavirus, we had to do it virtually. And we actually, there was a lot of pivoting going on, and we didn't even decide to really put it in motion fully until about May, I think. So we've developed an incredible team. We have 250 speakers. And what we've done is used a model of a whole system that Bucky Fuller, 12 around one, 12 sectors of society. You might have seen this with Thrive Movie or Barbara Marx Hubbard, where you have 12 sectors of a whole system. And so we brought together 12 thought leaders in each of those areas to help us design what's the pathway to peace over the next decade? What's the pathway that we need to do to sustainability, to racial healing, to conscious media, to triple bottom line business? Because the whole pattern needs to upgrade. And it takes the personal transformation and the musicians and the artists to help us celebrate. So we said, let's just bring everybody together that we possibly can. We're doing a multi-stage format. We've got all these A-listers from the world of transformation, people like Deepak Chopra and Marianne and Michael Beckwith, and folks here like Sandra Ingerman, and we also have like people with deep subject expertise in areas to also share their wisdom. And our goal is not just to have this be like a moment in time, but it's an ignition point. So for 4 days, we're activating these visions, collaborating, bringing people together around the world. And then there's a synthesis of a game plan on the International Day of Peace. And so we'll hear a little bit more from Philip Helmick later, who's been orchestrating the Peace Day program, which is going to be epic, unprecedented 8 hours of peace building wisdom from around the world. And out of that, all these tracks, I think is going to emerge really clear sense of like, how can we shift the paradigm in a more accelerated way? How can we each participate in this larger tapestry of the shift? And I believe this decade, we have to turn things around in this decade. And I believe we will turn things around, but it happens from each of us showing up. So the way that I invite people to show up is, first of all, sign up at theshiftsummit.com. But I think even more importantly is become a champion, an advocate, enroll your friends, help us get out the word, bring the conscious change makers into this so that after the event or through the event and then after the event, we can collaborate more effectively together. We're going to be rolling out a mobile app that helps people to stay connected with these ideas and people and connect together in communities. We're going to be doing a lot of things to help to advance the kind of visionary ideas and change-making perspectives that are going to be shared throughout the event. And we're super blessed to be doing this with a combination of the thought leaders and the music artists too. So we have people like Donna DeLore and Michael Franti and Natalie Rise and Krishna Das, and it just goes on and on and on. There's so many talented artists and individuals who are showing up. It's just going to be, we have about 40 different music acts. We'll have 3 parallel stages for music acts. We'll have a healer stage for all kinds of healing transformational teachings. We'll have a yoga and movement stage with top yoga teachers, embodiment practitioners. So you can really tap into the best of all these different streams. And as we build energy over the 4 days, that we want the pre-state program in particular to reach the maximum number of people. And we're holding a vision that 1 million people are touched by this worldwide, so that we can begin to reach that critical mass to turn things around and make 2020 not just a time of breakdown, but really a time of breakthrough. So that's the invitation and why we've sponsored tonight, and a lot of different teachers and leaders and artists are going to be performing tonight that kind of give you a taste and a sneak preview of the amazing magic that is about to be coming. So you can find out all the details at theshiftsummit.com, and I just really encourage you to help us get out the word and really get the people there who are the conscious change makers who literally incarnated to help co-create this shift on the planet. And that's the legacy that we can give to ourselves and to our kids and grandkids, to really make this planet shine and make it the garden that it was really designed to be.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Stephen, for all that you're doing and for, supporting this to happen. One of the things that Deborah and I always say is that the people watching this show, the people coming to the Shift Network and that are going to be coming next weekend, you're all the imaginal cells. Everybody watching, everybody listening right now, you are the butterfly cells. And as the old paradigm, as we can imagine, as the caterpillar that's dying, this butterfly cells, these imaginal cells, we find each other and we give each other support, and we all are awakening and feeling our own purpose. And so that's why we do this show every weekend. And it's why what Stephen has created is so incredibly important, for us to inspire each other, to provide tools so that we can create this shift into a beautiful new world, a beautiful new paradigm.
One last thing I forgot to mention. So on Saturday night, we'll be featuring Saturday Night Alive as part of our broadcast. And on Sunday night, we'll have a special Indigenous wisdom circles, actually 2 circles that Grandmother Flor de Mayo and Chief Phil Lane Jr. are going to convene with female leaders and male leaders to sort of have an hour and a half of really deep wisdom about how do we draw from the most ancient roots to help navigate these times and co-create the shift.
Beautiful. And speaking of Grandmother Flor de Mayo, do you want to introduce what we're about to see, Stephen?
Yeah, so Grandmother Flor de Mayo is one of the great treasures on the planet. She is an amazing mystic, and she's also so humble and real. We've had her stay with us, and she'll be doing far out healings all night, and then she'll say, "Do you want me to fold your laundry in the morning?" So she's like this amazing combination of like super humble roots, grew up in Central America and trained as a Mayan priestess, and then became a really global leader, but has never really left behind this sensibility of just the humblest servant of the divine. And that deep wisdom that shines through her is such a blessing. And so she's going to be offering a prayer for us and for the larger endeavor of the shift, broadly defined. So here's Grandmother Flor de Mayo.
Yeah, she wasn't able to join us live, but we had a lovely time. I did a little video recording. So this is a special video recording that she made just for us to show tonight, to bless us.
Beloved Creator, beloved Mother, Father, Creator of all of this beauty that is around us. the beauty between the heavens and the earth, beloved Mother. Thank you. Beloved Spirit of the grandmothers of the Four Directions. Thank you. Beloved Spirit of the Sacred Fire. Beloved Spirit of the Sacred Waters. Beloved Spirit of the Sacred Wind. Beloved Spirit of the Earth. You have called upon us, beloved Creator, in this time of huge turmoil happening around the globe, as we are walking on this sacred earth. It is affecting each and every one of us, male and female, young and old. Beloved Creator, we are remembering everyone on this sacred day, this day of 11 to King, that you give us the vision to see the beauty of the future of humanity, beloved Creator. It is a sacred day in which we, humans, are coming together in the name of peace, beloved Mother. In the name of unity. In the name of the sacred, beloved Creator, Spirit of all of our ancestors around the globe. We're calling you in this beautiful, beautiful moment to give us the nudge that we need so that we can come together in a circle of light. A circle encompassing everyone in the four directions at this very, very moment, beloved Creator. A circle that will move, awaken us, enlighten us in the heart, so that we can hear the wisdom of the heart. In the name of beauty. Removing the tears and removing the sadness. Beloved Creator, bringing in the peace, bringing in the love that is so deserving to each and every one of us. May we all embrace each other in the name of love, in the name of peace, in the name of unity. Thank you, beloved Mother, Father, heart of the heavens, heart of the earth. Thank you.
Can't hear you, Scott.
Next week, our theme is wisdom of the Indigenous elders. And we're going to have grandmother on with us again, sharing her wisdom. We certainly sure appreciate this beautiful blessing. I love the little humming that she does at the beginning, at the end. It's so good to just help us to drop in. And now to introduce a very, very special guest. Here's Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. And yes, I'm so happy to present now one of the icons of the yogic path and kirtan music that has been called the yoga's rock star. Krishna Das has developed a chanting and signature shot style fusing traditional kirtan with the East and Western harmonic rhythm. And he has a remarkably soulful voice that really touches you on your inner core. He's become a worldwide best-selling Western chant artist of all time. And not only does he share his music, he shares his wonderful story of his life with Maharaji and his life on the path. So thank you so much, Krishna Das, for being with us tonight and blessing us with your amazing teachings, music, and vibration and healing.
Thank you.
Krishna Das.
Namaste. Thank you so much. I think we'll just chant. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai 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 Ram. Shri Ram, 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 Sita Ram, 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 Sita Ram, 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 Sitaram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Sita Ram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai 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 Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you just would love to, a couple of things. In a moment, I want to show your website, but you're a very important spiritual leader for so many of us. And then now with the passing of our beloved Ram Dass this year, um, you know, we're looking to you and people look to you, not just for your music, but just wondering if you have any wisdom or insight you want to share during this most unique year 2020 that we're all experiencing together.
Ah, well, my first piece of wisdom is don't look to me. I'm just singing. It's a tough time. The whole world is full of fear and anxiety. You can't escape it. You know, we spend most of our lives paying some attention to our state of mind, but not that much. And now we can't escape it. So it's a very powerful time for all of us. And we really do have to dedicate ourselves and commit to finding that peace inside, at least trying to calm ourselves down, trying to take the energy out of all those knee-jerk reactions that come at us and that we're part of all day long. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone we come in contact with. We're all so interconnected that we may not be aware of it, but a lot of times we internalize these feelings of fear and anxiety and we think it's just my own stuff, right? But it's not, it's everyone. This mind space that we're all in is filled with so much unknowing and so much fear, so much anxiety and distress. Each one of us has to do the best we can to calm ourselves down and keep turning within again and again. And it's a powerful time for practice. It really is. And I'm just so pissed that Ram Dass left us before this, because we could really use him now. But, you know, he was so at ease and so full of love and sweetness as he dropped this whatever this is, you know, this body, that it was his time, and he went so graciously and gratefully and lovingly into his next incarnation. So we can learn a lot from that, for sure. Very powerful message to us all.
Yeah, that whole beautiful message you gave us a long time ago of fierce grace.
Fierce grace.
Isn't COVID fierce grace for us to slow down, like you're saying?
Yeah. One funny thing about fierce grace, you know, when he first had the stroke, he would say that Maharaji had stroked him, so to speak.
Right.
And he went on with that kind of feeling for quite a while. But when he went back to India, the only time after he had the stroke in the wheelchair, and he met Siddhima, who was Maharaji's great disciple, great devotee. And she said, Ram Dass, Maharaji did not give you the stroke. He would never do that. The stroke was your karma, but the grace is the strength he gives you to overcome the effects of that negative karma, of that heavy physical karma. And Ram Dass really, I mean, you know, for him, for us, you know, we think about it a little bit, okay, we'll meditate, how do we feel? Yeah, he 24/7, 365. He had no escape from the physical pain, from that wheelchair, and he really became, we used to tease him, I used to tease him, I said, you finally become who we thought you were 40 years ago. And he would laugh, you know, he would laugh. So he really overcame, he became so humble and so open and so willing to take assistance because he needed help for everything. He couldn't even turn in bed anymore with 2 torn rotator cuffs and hip surgery. Everything he needed to do, he needed help. And that's not easy. And he overcame all that ego stuff, and he was really so full of grace and love towards the end. It was extraordinary, really beautiful.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And just about sharing, there's a lot of ways we can get more Krishna Das.
Ah,
He's got the easiest website to remember. It's krishnadas.com. Tell us a little bit about these free gifts that you can provide to us.
well, the newest one is an incredible book of stories about our Guru, Neem Karoli Baba. It was published in India, but it's been out of print and very hard to get. So we digitized it and made an ebook. So it's a free download as a Kindle or iBook or PDF. And that's available. And then whatever else is there, just take. I don't know what's in there.
Great. Wow, well, thank you. I do look forward to downloading some of that. And thank you again for blessing us with your presence tonight. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it. Namaste.
You know, there's something that Krishna Das said that I just want to accentuate for a moment. And that is that almost all of us obviously are going through personal challenges, but there's also the transpersonal experience that we're connecting to. And as a coach who works with people all day long that are struggling, I just want to remind you that whatever you're experiencing, it's magnified by COVID, the pandemic, economic unrest and uncertainty, election uncertainty, all the polarization. In our world, there's so much going on. And that's why it's, again, so important for us to have each other, to support each other, and have as much compassion for ourselves and for each other because of what's going on in the world at this time. It's my honor to turn it back over to Stephen to introduce our next speaker.
Well, thank you, Krishna Das, for that beautiful wisdom transmission. And I'm really blessed to introduce our next speaker. Her name is Sandra Ingerman. She's really the foremost guide, I believe, for aspiring shamans around the world who really want a path of authenticity, of depth, of sincere commitment to drawing from ancient roots and putting them into a modern context and being of greater service in our day for our personal healing, the healing of others, and the ritual healing of the collective. She's written many books and trained thousands of people, but at the depth, she's just deeply dedicated to service. And I really am blessed to know her and work with her. So Sandra Ingerman, thank you for coming tonight.
Stephen, thank you so much. That's beautiful. I am really delighted to be here because we have such an opportunity. Whenever we bring big groups together, we have an opportunity to create change. And I teach workshops on shamanism, and I've been teaching workshops for 40 years. And what I've seen in the universal practice of shamanism, which dates back over 100,000 years, and it's a universal practice. So you all have ancestors who practiced shamanism. So let's just start by honoring our ancestors and honoring all that's going on right now, because I know that in our hearts, we all feel so much compassion for all the beings who are deceased. We lost so many humans through the COVID. We lost so many nature beings through fires and other environmental challenges. And it's really important for us to honor the deceased. In honoring the deceased, we honor life. So let's put our hands on our hearts and let's just take a moment to honor all the beautiful beings that left the planet. Just take a deep breath And with your breath, also think about what you love about this planet Earth. There's so much going on right now, but there's so much to be in gratitude for. There's so much to be grateful for. And in shamanism, how we create change is through ceremony. And in the universal and ancient practice of shamanism, it's seen that this whole world is just a dream. So as you hold your hands on your heart, just tap in to your intuition, to your knowing, and know that you came here at this time to help change the dream. And we can change the dream by lifting the veils of illusion and stepping into a new reality. But we have to learn how to expand and open our non-ordinary senses in order to see, hear, feel, taste, and smell. What would life look like in your perfect world? Because in shamanism, the world that you're living is based on your daydreams. And so we have so much power to change the world through our daydreams. And so I'm going to lead you on a guided meditation that's going to take us to the end. But before I do, I just want to say that in the music festival that's coming up, we are also going to gather together as an amazing global community to use ceremony to create change. And what we're going to do is we're going to come together and we're going to release our hate, our feelings of division, our anger, our fear, so we can make space for these new incredible dreams. So in shamanism, how you become the dreamer is you really have to use your imagination. Our imagination is a gift that was given to us at our birth, and that's what we can use to create change. And so I'm going to do some drumming, and I am going to lead you on a ceremony to create a new dream for yourself and a new dream for the world. So using your imagination, transport yourself to a gorgeous meadow. It's surrounded by trees. And if you look up, the moon is shining in her fullness, adding exponential energy to our ceremony. And the stars in the night sky are reflecting our own star-like nature, because we shine as beautiful as the stars above us. We are a reflection of the stars, because we are walking stars on this great planet Earth. So we're in this beautiful meadow, and imagine yourself holding hands with everybody joining in this event. So beautiful to hold hands again, see the beauty of the night sky, and look into each other's eyes. And let's drop hands and sit on the ground. And now it's time to light up our imagination, our ability to dream like shamanic cultures have been doing for tens of thousands of years. They taught this our practice. They taught this so we can survive and thrive the coming times. Let's take this to heart. So start to see the world you would like to live in for yourself and for all of life, where all of life is honored, respected, loved, and we emanate light in gratitude for all the beauty that all life brings to this planet Earth. We feel the feelings in our heart of what it'd be like to have a life filled with peace and a planet filled with peace. We smell the beauty of nature. We hear the beauty of the songs of nature. We taste food that's been grown with love from a clean earth, with clean elements, pure, that nurture every cell of our body. And this is how we dream the new world into being. We step into that dream and we imagine that it's here right now, seeing it, hearing it, feeling it, smelling it, tasting it. Touch everything around you that you would love to touch in this new dream. And continue this work in your own time. It's important. We've been given this knowledge by elders for thousands of years. Let's not waste it. Let's change the dream. But for now, it's time to thank everybody in our circle and to look again at the beauty of the night sky and transport yourself back to the room that you're in right now, feeling the feeling of hope, because everything is possible. Everything is possible if we're willing to dream it into being. Our work is done for now, but please continue this practice. I do it every day. Please continue this practice. It works. Blessings, everyone. Thank you. And show up to the Shift Network Music Festival. It's going to be really inspirational. Join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. And I just want to let people know that ways they can get more of your medicine. She is at sandraingerman.com, SandraIngerman.com. And she also has shamanicteachers.com. So that's where you can get more information and more medicine from Sandra. And of course, we really want to encourage everybody to, in 2 weeks, go to the Shift Network Summit, where you'll be presenting. Which day are you going to be presenting, Sandra? Do you?
Oh, that part I don't know, but I'm so excited about the fire ceremony that we're going to do, because we're going to be releasing our pain to make room for these big dreams to manifest.
Wow. I have a feeling Stephen might know. Stephen, what?
You know, the schedule is still not published. I'll just say that. It's a complex thing with this many presenters and music acts. So it was to be determined soon.
Right. So the bottom line, everybody, Get your ticket for the whole weekend because there's going to be a lot going on. And again, Sandra, so much pleasure to hear you, and thank you for taking us on that beautiful journey.
Thank you. Blessings, everyone.
This next part of the show is going to be a little challenging because we're going to drop into an awareness of a very challenging experience. We're going to meet friends of mine. I've known them for many, many years. As a lot of you know, there have been really horrific wildfires through Northern California. What happened was we had a freak dry lightning storm. It took place about 3 weeks ago. The people who track these things said that 20,000 lightning strikes happened, and it started over 400 fires. 2 of those fires ended up becoming 2 of the 3 largest wildfires in the history of California. And I'm going to show you some photos as I talk. A few weeks ago, this was the home of my dear friends, August and Hannah. Hannah does grief counseling. They did lots of rituals, retreats, and workshops in their home. And I'm going to go to in the opposite direction. Let's go here. Scrolling in the wrong direction. Lots of workshops that they did there. Grief counseling is what Hannah does. And they sent me a picture of their beautiful vision board. And then the fire came. And this is what's left. It's unimaginable for any of us who have never gone through this to imagine our home and all of our possessions gone so quickly. And so tonight, one of our recipients of our GoFundMe are my friends Hannah and August, who are with us. And if you can go ahead and unmute. And I just want to start before they even speak, asking everyone as we watch, as we look at these 2 beautiful souls, maximum grace. You know, as Krishna Das talked about, you know, grace, maximum grace. And may we provide maximum grace through green energy to support them. And, you know, thank you both for being with us tonight. Is there anything you'd like to share? I mean, I'm imagining you're all still just in shock.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting us on here, and definitely in shock and very dreamlike quality. Yeah, and just want to speak to the Phoenix energy that I am calling in to this devastating loss. That I feel like fire. I mean, I love hearing about the fire ceremony that you're going to be doing, Sandra. But yeah, fire is this great transforming, cleansing energy, and I mean, I just feel like totally stripped. And you know, when this happens, it's kind of like just this radical recreation. And the energy of the Tower card from the tarot deck, for those of you who know tarot. We're just in deep uncertainty. And go ahead, say something.
Yeah, for me, the experience of, and yes, Scott, thank you for inviting us again. Just unexpected and very meaningful. As you mentioned, Scott, Hannah and I held grief ceremonies in this house, in our temple space, maybe at least a half dozen, and I'm experiencing grief on a level that is very new to me. And I mean, not only did I lose items that were not really replaceable. I'm not so concerned about what can be replaced, but I lost a lot of sentimental, unreplaceable items. I lost instruments, recordings, on and on. But the loss of community We lived in a place called Bonnie Doon, which is up in the mountains. Beautiful, beautiful community of people. About a third of the homes are gone. The landscape is gone. So it's the losses are just on such a profound level that it is very dreamlike, and that's a bigger loss for me in a lot of ways than the home itself. It's just so many levels. Yeah.
So I just want to remind people, please, during this show, starting right now, please donate. Go to GoFundMe and just put in Global Peace Tribe. And one of the things that I do is later on in the show, I'm going to thank everybody, whether you donate $10, $100, or $1,000. We're going to mention everybody's name, unless you want to be anonymous. But please do donate and donate generously. And when you were talking about your community, one of the photos you sent me was this photo, of course, taken before the fire, of Inspiration Point. Was that what you named your particular home or the community where you lived?
Yeah, this is a location. We lived right next to a Baha'i school, and they were very generous, wonderful neighbors, and they would welcome us onto their land. And when we did our grief ceremonies, we'd also bring people onto the land. And so that was a place from the Baha'i school land.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody, I'm noticing in the chat box, a lot of people are offering thoughts, but Cindy Manet says it was a very, very special spot on that land. So your friend Cindy commenting on that. Well, God bless you both. I'm so happy to have you on the show, but of course not under these circumstances. And again, everybody, please be generous as you make your donations. Every donation helps. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm going to turn it over to one of our very favorite musicians. I've known him I put him on a show 25 years ago, and it's good to see him again. This is James Twyman, and James is truly a global troubadour. We're going to hear a little bit more about what James is doing later tonight. But James, I'd love to just turn it right over to you as we're kind of hopefully making our donations, as we're praying for Hannah and August. I want to turn it over to you to play some music, please.
Well, thank you. And it's such an honor to contribute to this energy of healing and reaching out to those who are in need. And as we were chatting and listening to this story, I was just asking myself the question, what song would be the most healing? And for me, I know that it's always in listening deeply to the movement of spirit that's always with us, to the beloved always singing to us, saying, just turn to me, and I will lead you home. And I wrote a song called Turn to Me. And as you hear this, I want you to imagine that this is the beloved, the divine God, however you express that source of all things, of all being. Imagine that it's that divine source singing directly to you with that intimate voice, sharing this most important message. Turn to me, and I will lead you home. There's nowhere left for you to go. Just turn to me, you are not alone. I'll be your island when the wind blows strong, a safe place from the storm, your true protection. When the night is long, I'll be there to keep you warm. keep you warm. Just turn to me, and I will give you rest. There's nowhere left for you to go, baby. Just turn to me and I'll do my best to be your shelter when the night is long. The still point of your soul, I'll never leave you. When your strength is gone, I'm there right now, and it's where I'll stay. It's where I'll stay. Just turn to me, and I will lead you home. There's nowhere left for you to go. Just turn to me, you are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you. James is going to be back. And at that time, we're going to talk a little bit more about what he's up to and what he's doing. It's, as you said, the most perfect song, the perfect energy. Just so appreciating the flow of tonight. It's a very soft and very heartfelt evening so far. So thank you so much. And really, to kind of carry us right with it, I'm going to turn it over to Stephen to introduce a very special guest.
Yes. So I got kind of entranced with that song. And so I am now introducing Chief Phil Lane Jr. That is right. So so I want to say Chief Phil Lane Jr. is truly the best kind of leader. He's a leader who is bold, who speaks his truth, but also invites other people into their leadership. He's held a vision of the reunification of eagle and condor as a prerequisite in a way to the larger shift of our world. I think the indigenous people can lead us into a more unified human family and a deeper reverence for this planet. And Chief Phil Lane Jr. has been out at the forefront of this work. He has convened so many leaders, indigenous leaders, other non-indigenous leaders. He is a voice for change, for healing and awakening on this planet, and a force to be reckoned with. So thank you, Brother Phil, for all you do. And thank you for bringing yourself here tonight.
Mitakiapi, my very, very beloved members of our human family, past, present, future. And thank you so much, Stephen, for what Shift has done. And well, you know, I'm going to say this before we go on. It's so fascinating to me how time and space comes back together and repeats itself in a deeper and deeper manner. So what I'm going to share with you tonight includes my dear brother, John Raymer, and Phil Helmick, and Stephen, because without them, what's going to be revealed tonight, and by the way, my name, Shunkmano Hemeyodo, Chinupasapa Hemeyodo. Shunkmano means horse thief. And it's long form. It means a leader of warriors, a spiritual leader of warriors who takes the enemy's best horses. The second name, Chinupasapa, means a sacred black pipe, short form, black pipe. But from the visions at Bear Butte, it's a sacred black pipe born of thunder, lightning, rain. So I want to repeat it and said it. So if you know anything about what I'm going to say today, if nobody knows what I'm going to say today, then I've done my job as a good horse thief. Because my father always told me, he said, son, you never ever reveal your plans, you humble yourself until you have all the horses. You have all the good best horses and you're already safely away. Then that's the time we sing the songs and tell the stories, but not until that time. And so I'm going to share with you tonight, I think briefly, and we're going to go much deeper in this. You know, we're talking about a caravan of unity. That means we have to go deep, deep inside our souls and differentiate what's our soul and what's our ego, what's the hurt part of us. My good brother, Gary Zukav, the frightened part of our personality. So let's go back. Just over 500 years ago, there existed across the Americas, the Union, the Condor, the Quetzal, and the Eagle. More recent, the Quetzal has emerged as part of this. The Condor, the Eagle. And within this union, there was between 90 and now they're saying 108 million human beings who live together here in relative peace and harmony. This union, the Condor, the Quetzal, and the Eagle, was the most enlightened, illumined civilizations ever been on the face of this earth and will in the future. There's just as the Americas has achieved material degrees, so is the future destined shall achieve the same for spiritual degrees. And that is destined, it's happening as we speak. So this union, the Condor, the Quetzal, and the Eagle, has been formed on June 20th at 5:44 p.m. 2020, as you have witnessed, and you were there for those ceremonies. So I'm going to ask my dear brother here, if you'd please share that one first slide that has the background I sent you on what is the Union of Condor Eagle. What are we talking about here? If you would. That's right. The next one. There will actually one with the Condor. There we go. One more. It's the one that I sent several times to you.
Give me a moment. Yeah, give me a moment to find it then.
No problem. I just want to be in with it. I've got, John, you'll be so happy with me. I've got one of these actual little stopwatch things. Koda, you like that. So I got a stopwatch. So I'm watching that thing. So I didn't want to go over that 10 minutes. So that's fine. So I'm going to try to get an extra few seconds in there.
Yes. Every word you say matters.
Here we go.
Good.
Okay, there we go. I apologize.
No problem. No problem. No problem.
We're pulling it up right now. Okay.
No problem. No problem. No problem.
Okay, here we go.
No problem. One second here. Okay, I'm going to do my thing here. Okay.
So it's up.
Okay, very good. So, as I shared with you, over 500 years ago, our union exists across the Americas in relative peace and harmony. Together, one heart, and one mind, we trace that we know this to the depth of the seven souls. At the same time, our relatives in the other parts of Mother Earth were suffering tremendous hurt and pain and so many things, plagues and so forth, while we lived here in relative peace and harmony. That is destined, because the world simply because it's round for one thing, and we're curious, but it was destined, this prophecy we had, and we have in the White Swan Dakotas, that's what our White Buffalo Calf Pipe told us, the same thing, that's how we connected. It said there would come a time when a great winter time would come across the people, would last for a long time, and I use the term 500 years because that's how long it lasts, but for us it was shorter. In this spiritual winter time, if we held on to these sacred prophecies, at the end of this time, there would be a great springtime. And so this would happen. And this is symbolized by that sacred prophecy of the white buffalo. It's well known. This prophecy was carried with a sacred peace pole from Japan. As we rode 6 days, our riders rode to carry this sacred prophecy of fulfillment into Whitestone Massacre site. And we prayed there. But let's go back to the map, if we would, please.
Okay.
Okay. The union of the Condor, the Quetzal, the Eagle has a total population at this point in time. That's not including, by the way, those other countries that are smaller population, I'd say another 2 or 3 million. but doesn't include all those relatives who have indigenous blood, which is the majority of people across this hemisphere, nor those who we're adopting as relatives because they're seeing our own worldview. So that total of digitally now we have connected very quietly now. That's why I'm saying I hope this is the first time you're hearing this. Digitally, we have now connected 78 million relatives across the hemisphere. We have the youngest population of anyone, as much as anyone in the whole world, but the most here in the Americas. As well, we have the most dynamic growing population in the Americas. Now, if you look at this, you see the heart, Mexico, 25.7 million relatives. And we have been long developing these relationships quietly, because I'll tell you, until the time was right, in Bolivia, where I went to 1970, when you see those picture behind me, those brothers, that's where we really put these prophecies, the white buffalo, the redeemed, the condor, and the eagle, and came to that prophecy. Brazil. Now, I want to really point out here, there's only 4 million indigenous people in the United States, and look what kind of the turmoil we've caused. And look at Canada, only 2.13. Now think about 78 million human beings aligned with the same guiding principles, with the same prophecies, with the same feelings of love and compassion, to a lot of hard-won work. That is the union, the condor, the quetzal, and the eagle, which we'll speak about later. Now, you just put that one out, it's fine.
Phil, can you turn your camera back on so we can see you?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Let me go back here. Let me just go off the screen real quick, and I'm gonna. Okay, 1 second here. Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay. Okay, no, 1 second here. Come on. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, I want to say that there was a key part in this whole process, in this actual happening right now, in which it wouldn't have been for the Shift Network and Philip Helmick stepping in a 3-day process and funded us over $60,000. When they, oh, okay.
And Phil, if you could turn your camera on. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
We want the complete experience of Phil.
Huh?
We want the complete experience.
I want to step back. So anyway, so we were making our way from that picture you saw before, from 1969 when we started this process, and many others. But I'm just a little. When I go, it's not anything to do with me. So here we were. So we were coming up, and we had this time meeting at the same time as the Summit of the Americas. That's the first time Raul Castro joined. So we were ready to go into that meeting. We had all these things we're going to share with you now, ready. But what happened was that the Organization of American States, the same people took on Evo Morales, they stepped in, and the government of Panama tried to say, all of a sudden, after promising all the funding, having everything planned, they said, oh, no, you're just part of the people of Panama. So what they tried to do was to completely wipe out treaty rights. Okay, so here we were, Thursday, just going into Good Friday. And we had to have this money by Monday to make this thing happen. So Stephen Dinan, God bless you, brother, and Philip Helmick stepped in, and their network the thing I liked about it was we had to be very careful, because I knew some of those elite people, but I knew they really got into Easter. So it was Good Friday, perfect timing. Good Friday by the time, and we even kind of had a little bit of that feeling of it, because it was like that. But that Sunday, sure enough, 60-some thousand, whatever it was. And then they'll be able to do that and carry this message directly to the hands of Evo Morales and so forth. So I thank you, Philip. And I got to say, for Koda John Raymer, he has backed us up the hilt. So quickly. And by the way, Krishna Das, I love that chant. I want to chant with you some more. We're going to have, for that Wisdom Council of Shift Network, we have an incredible council looking our indigenous view, the best visionaries I can think of. First of all, Dr. Mindaje Bastida from Mexico, that 25 million relatives, he'll be there. Spiritual and cultural leader Kevin Locke of the Oceti Sakowin, the great Sioux Nation. Dr. Lee Brown, a visionary of the Eastern Cherokee, one of our great visionaries. I mean, a true visionary I've known over 40-some years. Elder John Sargent of the Six Nations Confederacy, of the Iroquois Confederacy, who knows directly those teachings that we need to hear now from the great peacemaker who brought about the great law. and 7th generation leader, Jordan Bighorn from Winnipeg. Last thing is that image of the white buffalo. We'd ask whoever would like to join us towards this effort for peace by 2030, and all the partners who are joining, to take, if you would, that image and put it up as your Facebook profile just until the 1st of October. If we can share that, find a way to share that to just the 1st of October. At that time, our belief is this: by that time, we're going to be ready. But it's time this next few weeks to go deep and differentiate within us, without us, until we can be so crystal clear. When the next stage of integration comes, everything will fit together perfectly, and out of that comes oneness. From that oneness comes our connection to the higher worlds. So with that, Mitaki Epi, I send my warm, loving greetings. Please, we have my TP flap, as my father used to say, thousands of people. He said, my TP flap is always open. But I know that my daughters and other my relatives will kind of take care of the door. But I want to say my heart is open. It's time to have consultation. It's time for us as a human family to set aside, just I've heard everybody say, set aside these ruinous wars. It's time, Mitaki Epi. It's time for our grandchildren, our children. So thank you so much. Did I order my time? Yes, I did. So, but I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much, Chief Phil Lane. Thank you. And again, a reminder that you can have a much greater, longer experience with Chief Phil Lane and so many amazing people that he's going to be collaborating with, speaking with at the Shift Summit and Music Festival happening in 2 weeks. And so please go to the shiftsummit.com, get all the details, all the information. It's remarkable. And I know that I'm looking forward to hearing more from Chief Phil. Also, I want to say he's going to be on our show next week because next week we're honoring Indigenous elders. So thank you very much, Chief Phil, for all that you've done. I also want to thank the people that are donating. It's very beautiful how many donations have come flooding in. And I want to start by acknowledging a very significant donation from our dear friend Jay Mayer. Thank you, Jay, for your donation. Very, very large donation. Thank you. Jay's such a beautiful support person for Love Coach Academy, for Saturday Night Alive, and for our GoFundMes. Get ready, because I'm going to thank a lot of people. We've had a lot of people donate. I want to thank Christy, Susan, Denise, John, Deborah, Kim, Mariana, Deborah, again, a different Deborah, Laura, oh gosh, good luck. Lord, help me with this name. Labuth, God bless you. I hope I got the name right. Stan, Shauna, David, Jay, Deirdre, Carrie, Claire, Peter, Two Turtle, John, Valma, Michael, Tara, Ellen, Kay, Love Revolution, Marlene, Carol, Jacqueline, Noel, Shannon, Gabriella, Iona, Robin, Stephen, John, Lola, Iona, Angela, and Lorna, and Tara. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your generosity. It really makes a big difference. Really, what a beautiful community we have. So grateful for our community. All right. One of the things that we love to do on Saturday Night Alive, because we are an inspirational variety show, is we love to have magic. And we have a brand new magician. He's not new to doing magic, but he's new to our show. This is Paul Draper. And he's a comedy presenter, mind reader, and speaker who's appeared on oh my gosh, so many things. HGTV, the Travel Channel, Hallmark, HBO, A&E, History Channel, and it goes on and on and on. He's actually appeared with David Copperfield, Lance Burden, Teller and Penn. He's one of the real kings of comedy. He's performed at Caesar's Palace, and he's hosted documentaries for Steven Spielberg's Poltergeist. He's going to provide magic for us a few times tonight. Hey, Paul, welcome to Saturday Night Alive.
Hi there. This has been really great. So, before I was a full-time entertainer, I used to be a professor of anthropology. I taught at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. But for several years, I was the house magician at the Venetian in Las Vegas, where they insisted that I perform as a 1400s Roman Catholic Italian dude. Buonasera, miei amici, mi chiamo Paolo. I'm a Giovriu canzone for you. Che me cosa ne ornata sole, nania serena rovana tempesta, and so on. It's difficult for me to perform as a 1400s Roman Catholic Italian because I'm actually a Russian Jew. So closer for me is Shema Israel, right, is my prayer set. But we're going to share a little magic here. We're going to start with a little magic right here at the front of the table. So if the 350 people could get your screen, and everybody on Facebook, and make sure to keep sharing with your friends to let them know the wonderful things happening here. You can get your screen so you can see the front of my table right here. I'll show you something you rarely see a man in a suit carry around with him. I have three metal nuts. Pick these up from the garage. Here we go. Watch close. 1, 2 go in my hand, and 1, that one right there, goes into my pocket. Now, this is about observation and seeing the world. How many do you think are there? Hold up your fingers. 1, 2, or 3. Let's check it out. 1, 2, because it's magic. We'll do it again. 1, 2 go into my hand. 1, this one goes into my pocket. Now, you saw last time, I can lie and I can cheat. That's part of the trickster myth here. And yet there's 1, 2, 3 right there. Coyote has nothing on me today. Here we come. Just like that. The third one, just like, oh no, I screwed up. Did you see me screw up? Look, there's the first nut right there. There's the second nut right there. There's the screw up. Oh no. Do you know what that is? A lot of people say it's a screw, but actually that's a bolt. They only say it's a screw because it's verbal misdirection. Toss that bolt over there. 2 nuts go back into the pocket. First nut, pull it out, throw it on there. Second one, pull it out invisibly, throw it on there. Give it a twist just like that, and suddenly it's on there, just like that. Okay, now we're ready to see some magic. So, this is the thing. In the Campbellian hero myth, in the mono myth, there's a character that's called the Threshold Guardian. He doesn't exist in the world of mortals. He doesn't exist in the world of magic. He's the one that takes you, or she is the one, or they are the one, that take you across that bridge or across the river or through the wall. And that's part of what a magician does, is a magician doesn't really have the real magic, and the magician doesn't really exist in the real world. They're the in-between person that takes you on that journey. When the shutdown happened, I was working at Disneyland, and they closed Disneyland. Asked me to perform at the gates of Disney for all the people that couldn't go in the park. So for a few days, I was literally the magic of Disney. But one of the great joys of working at Disneyland is getting to utilize the stories. So the story of Aladdin is one of my favorites. Have you read Aladdin? Aladdin comes from Scheherazad's Arabian Nights, which is a collection of Middle Eastern tales. In the same way that Grimm's fairy tales is a collection of German fairy tales. But the story of Aladdin doesn't take place in Arabia or Agrabah. It takes place in China. It starts with Aladdin. There was a young Chinese boy named Aladdin, and Jafar was his uncle. So instead of a Persian carpet, I use a bamboo mat for Aladdin. This is my magic carpet. That's the front side. Here's the back side where it's all tied together. There's the front side again. Now in Aladdin, there are 3 animals. There's the bird and the tiger and the monkey. This is probably too small to make a tiger appear, but let's try for one of the others, the bird or the monkey. Ready? 3, 2. You hear that? Inside there, just a little bit of sweetness. A singing bird in a bird cage. Yay! Oh, just fun to share a little magic with everybody. Well, I don't have a lot of time per segment because there's more important spiritual matters to take care of, but I'm going to come back in a little bit and share some more fun about my time working at the Native American Museum at the Smithsonian.
Wow, that was really fun. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. People are chuckling away, and it's great to lighten it up that way. Thank you, Paul. And yes, Paul's going to be back a little bit later on today, and we'll learn a little bit more about him. This is a moment where we just want to, again, thank our broadcast sponsors. And it's really exciting. You know, this show started just as a fundraiser locally, and it's grown and grown and grown. I know that hundreds are watching on Unify. And so thank you. Hello, all of you watching on Unify. We really appreciate that. And again, welcome everybody watching on Disclosure Fest, Global Days of Unity, Earth Dance Global, Awake TV, our friends on Awake TV, which is a wonderful new TV network. And of course, the Sign Network. We're going to meet John and Summer Raymer. They're the creators of the Sign Network. We're going to meet them in just a few minutes. Again, thank you anybody watching on YouTube through New Realities TV, Portal to Ascension, and my organization, the Love Coach Academy. And again, we want to really put a big thank you to the Shift Network for sponsoring our show tonight, collaborating with us, connecting us with some of these really wonderful, every speaker and musician you're seeing other than Paul is part of the Shift Network Summit taking place in 2 weeks. And again, for more information, go to the shiftsummit.com. And I'm going to put up their poster again. Go to the shiftsummit.com, and you want to register now because it's going to be amazing. And mark those days off because there's so many remarkable speakers, musicians, some of the people we've seen tonight like Krishna Das, but musicians like Michael Franti and Rising Appalachia. And some of the speakers, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Reverend Michael, all of whom have been on our show, but also other speakers that haven't been on our show, like Jane Goodall and Dolores Huerta. So a lot of remarkable people. You want to definitely mark off September 18th to the 21st for the Shift Summit and Music Festival. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to my partner, Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. And I personally want to thank all the donors for all the donations that are coming in. It's pretty amazing that your heart and your green love is really making a difference right now. And I also want to say that we are doing incredibly with our new season. We created an August, September new season. We've got 3 more shows in September that we're going to have that I'd like to tell you about. Next week, September 12th, our theme is going to be Indigenous Wisdom as a Source for Deep Healing and Transformation in Our Challenging Times. And we've got some really great speakers. Again, we'll have Grandmother Flor de Mayo, and we will have Chief Phil Lane, but we're also going to have Chief Golden Light Eagle. We're going to have Antarko, who's an Indigenous elder from South America. We will have Shauna Bluestar and her father, Stephen Newcomb. We're going to have incredible musicians, Native American musicians, as well as Suzanne Sterling, and many, many others. And then on September 19th, we're going to be having the International Day of Peace, where we're going to be celebrating with people all over the world. We will be having Caroline Mace and Matt Kahn, as well as comedian Swami Vinandananda, magician Jeff McBride, and many, many other presenters and musicians. And on September 26th, we're going to be partnering with Portal to Ascension and Disclosure Fest Foundation with a really insightful program. And both of them are giving virtual festivals and conferences in the month of October. So this is really what's happening now. And we're partnering with a lot of those organizations to support them and get their incredible information and fun out to the world. And then we're going to be working on a whole new season. Through your support and through the success of what we've been doing, we're going to continue. We're going to do October through December, and we've got a lot of very unique topics, a lot of collaborations, and a lot of incredible things that we're going to present at that time. And if you're watching this broadcast on one of our broadcast stations or Facebook, you can join us on Zoom. You just go to globalpeacetribe.com, and there you can get the link to register on Zoom. And if you do that, you're going to have a lot of other benefits. You'll get an email from us each week that will have the schedule of the event that's coming up on that Saturday, so you can see exactly who's coming on when. You'll be able to join our pre-show chat and interviews and our post-show community connections. We're going to be sending you a lot of gifts from our presenters, and you'll also be able to get all the shows of Love Coach Academy and much more. So you can just type in globalpeacedrive.com and you can register there. So we hope you join us in the future. And again, we have another GoFundMe recipient. This time we're really going to people personally in need. And so Scott, would you like to share about what's coming up in our next GoFundMe recipient?
Yeah, I sure would. Thank you very much, Deborah. So, often we do nonprofit organizations, but we also really enjoy the opportunity to support members of our community. And I'm going to show a few photos, kind of for starters. This is, here we go, a photo of Trevor Fry, taken a few, I guess about 3 or 6 months ago. And Trevor was then in a very significant accident. And I'm going to show you another photo of where Trevor's at now. He was in a bad accident. He's gone through a lot of challenges. And we have with us tonight Trevor's mother. Trevor's not in a position to where he can really speak. So this picture of Trevor in the hospital where he is now. And his mother in the picture is with us. And so I want to introduce you to Misty. Hi, Misty. We need for you to unmute yourself.
Hi, Scott. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Absolutely. And please tell us a little bit about what happened to Trevor and what he needs at this time.
Well, Trevor is my 25-year-old son, and he is a scenic carpenter in the theater. He's been working in theater for the past 5 years and is a wonderful, kind, and caring individual who always wants to help others. 4 months ago in May, he had a bad accident and had a head injury and was airlifted to a trauma center.
Oh, Misty.
His life was saved. Yes?
Oh, never mind. Your camera went out for a moment, but you're back.
Oh, okay. His life was saved because of the first responders and also because of the amazing neurosurgeon and the medical staff at the trauma center. They had him in the ICU for 3 months, where for the first 2 weeks he couldn't speak because he was on a ventilator, and he lost control of his left side. And the neurosurgeons and the nurses just worked so hard and in such a caring way. And they did some other surgeries, and he was able to regain the use of his left side. The neurosurgeon just kept trying to heal Trevor, knowing that, he was a young man and a city employee and, a local, someone who had grown up in our local area his whole life. So he was in the ICU for three months, where 54 nurses cared for him over 75 days. And after 4 surgeries, he was able to walk. And after they took the ventilator out, he was able to speak. And I think the doctors were so remarkably happy and surprised with his recovery. As he continued to recover, he was battling some infections and other obstacles that, of course, anybody with head trauma would go through. And after a surgery where they were able to put back the bone flap in his head after it had to be removed, his surgeon was hoping that he would walk and stand, and he actually was able to walk and stand. And I just feel like we've been surrounded by miracles and blessings. And Trevor's story is definitely about his remarkable recovery. And he is eager to recover to the best of his ability so that he can go back to work. Unfortunately, because he's a theater worker, the theaters are closed and will be for a while still. But one of the things that was really difficult for us to deal with was that while Trevor's employment didn't provide medical insurance, Trevor was paying for his own medical insurance through the Affordable Care Act. And because of that, he was able to get this amazing care. But he does not have disability insurance through his employer. And so that's been difficult to cope with because now that he's in recovery, he won't be able to work for months and hopefully in a year, but he doesn't have any disability insurance. And so that's what's been difficult. And he does need care. I'm a teacher, and I am also teaching from home in this new weird environment that we have, which is very difficult. And even though I'm home teaching, I still need a caregiver to attend to Trevor so that I can attend to my classes and continue working. And his father works for the county, our county, and he's also working to help the county workers have computers at home so that they can continue to serve the county. So we both work in these what we feel great jobs, but we really also have to keep getting Trevor some care. And that's what we really are grateful for, this donation and these donors that are helping us. So I just want to thank you so much. And I literally feel like I just live in gratitude every single minute. And this has taught me so much about what is really important in life and time.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you so much. And just so people know, the money that comes in, we're going to share equally to Trevor and to August and Hannah, who you met earlier. So there are 2 recipients. And again, thank you everybody who has donated. Thank you to those of you that are going to donate. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, it's time for some more music. And you know, I didn't get a chance to do the full introduction for Donna. And I'm imagining many of you know her, but in case you don't, she has a real wide, expansive musical vision. Her music has encompassed pop, world music, electronica, and even devotional mantras. In the pop realm, she's probably best known for her work with Madonna. She was a backup singer and dancer. She was seen in the Madonna documentary, Truth or Dare. And she was on Madonna's Who's That Girl, Blonde Ambition, Girly Show, Drowned World, Reinvention and Confession tours. Donna's music has topped the Billboard dance chart several times, and her voice has been heard on landmark albums by such diverse artists as Bette Midler, Leonard Cohen, Belinda Carlisle, Carly Simon, and Selena. Wow. We're really honored to have you with us, Donna. And your wonderful assistant, Amanda.
Am I unmuted now? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've been on camera this whole time.
So this time I didn't have to run up the stairs, which is a good, it's nice to not have to run up the stairs before you sing, so.
Right.
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah. Amanda's gonna sing along as well.
Great.
So,
And you know what, if she can turn the volume up on your mic, you're a little soft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get close to it. Okay, I'll get closer because.
That's much better.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, here I am. Okay, I'll lean in. You guys sing along. Feel free to dance. This is another song I just threw in the mix, being inspired by this this evening and all the beautiful messages shared and all the beautiful wisdom. This is Be the Change, Electronic Bliss Mix. You guys got a little bit more groove in you?
Yeah.
Let's do it together. Come on. Let's do it together, yeah. Have a Everybody's talking about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Everybody's talking about Buddha, 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 Buddha. Everybody's talking about Brahma, Brahma. Everybody's talking about the Dalai Lama, yeah. Everybody's talking about Jesus Christo. Everybody's talking about Amma, Mother Tira. Everybody's talking about Gandhi, Gandhi. Everybody's talking about Ram Das Bliss, absolute. Talking about one love, one blood, yes, one light in everyone, one life to give to each other. We're all sisters and brothers, and we sing, come on. One love, one blood. Thank you, Paul. One light in everyone, one life to give to each other. We're all sisters and brothers, and we sing Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Come on. Om Shanti, Shanti. Saturday Night Alive. Here we go. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Let's pull out some old moves. Everybody's talking about consciousness, right? Everybody wants that eternal kiss. Everyone's saying there's more than this. Everyone wants to follow their bliss. Talking about one love, one blood, one light in everyone, one life to give to each other. We're all sisters and brothers. We sing Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Come on, get in here. This is Amanda. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Woo! Come on, guys. Om Shanti, Shanti. Keep singing Shanti. You got it. Let's go. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Can't ever say that word enough. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Inner peace. Keep singing it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's sing it out. Here we go. Shanti Om. 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 One love, one blood, one light in everyone, one light give to each other. We're all sisters and brothers. One love, one blood, one light in everyone, one light to give to each other. Sisters and brothers, we sing Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Come on. Shanti, 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 Shanti. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Let's do it together, yeah. Let's do it forever, yeah. Let's do it together. Let's do it forever, yeah, yeah. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti.
Woo! That was just perfect. But did you catch some of Chief Phil Lane's moves? I got to tell you, you're a good dancer there, but Chief Phil, he's got the moves going on there.
I will be watching the replay for sure. Thank you so much for your beautiful spirit. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm honored and feel so blessed. And I'll be here again. Just ask. And I was thinking of when I was little, we used to there was a Jerry Lewis telethon that was on, and I remember we would give and we would wait for our names to be announced. And it's just such a wonderful thing to give. So thank you to all the people who are giving for these amazing causes.
Well, thank you, Donna. And a reminder that people go to DonnaDeLory.com. That's pretty easy. DonnaDeLory.com. And she's got her new remix, Here in Heaven. And boy, it sure is a little bit of heaven being there. And you can get so many things by going to her website. Her albums, a lot of really good stuff there. So please, let's all go to DonnaDeLory.com. I'm not going to click on online. I will click on online events, not regular events.
Well, there'll be a lot more coming up here, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Donna, thank you for being on the show again. And we definitely hope you'll come back for part of our fall season.
Thank you.
And again, remember, you'll be able to see Donna doing much, much more in 2 weeks for the Shift.
Wait.
For the
Yes.
Shift Summit.
Shift Summit Music Festival. Everyone, please tune in. Thank you.
And speaking of the Shift Summit, I'm turning it back over to Stephen.
Great. Well, thank you so much for rocking us out, Donna. And artists like Donna are going to have full 40-minute sets at the festival and the Shift Summit and Music Festival. So come on down for more. So next I get to introduce Reverend Dr. Aaliyah Mahone, who we are super blessed has recently joined the Shift team to be our Chief Inclusion Officer, and really for us to take a deeper stand on diversity, inclusion work, and really the reunification of the human family and the healing that's required to get there. She's a visionary leader. She's been a diversity trainer for decades. She's also the founder of the Next 50 Years Project. She's created her own proprietary coaching system, and she's just a real, she really speaks deep truth in a way that it can be fully received by others because it's just clear, and empowering and evolutionary. So thanks so much for joining us, Aaliyah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stephen. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I have one of these virtual backgrounds, and so you're sort of getting a little bit of a blurry me, but that's okay. Hi. You know, I want to say that I have, 5 minutes? Let me set my timer to speak to you. I want to say that I am not a speaker. I am a facilitator. And there's a distinction between a speaker and a facilitator, and here's what it is. Speakers, you listen to them, and facilitators have you listen to yourself. And so we're going to actually have you listen to yourself right now. So all of you who have the ability to do so, who can use the chat, I would like you to start this process by putting in the age you were when you first learned about race, racism, the racial divide, the differences between people, that folks were actually seen as less than or more than, whatever it is that you happen to have learned. How old were you? Please put those numbers in, just one number, please. 7, 10, keep going. 25, 13, 6, 18, 5, 6, 19, 5, 18, 21, 6, 7. I'm just going to get 1. Wow. 12, 23, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, I'm just going to keep naming them off as much as I can see them. 33 when Roots came out. 18, 9, keep going, folks. 20, 14, keep going. All right, so that's enough to get a sense of it. Now, there's a variation, and keep putting them in. I can't look over there because I want to speak to you. There's a variation. I'm going to tell you how old I was the first time I learned about race, probably 2.5. 2.5. I was visiting my grandparents who lived in Alabama, in the South, in the deep South back in the day. I'm a baby boomer, so it was a long time ago, even before we had the March on Washington. So it was 57 years ago that we had the March on Washington, and I'm a little bit older than that. I won't tell you exactly how much older than that I am, but there was a water fountain at a supermarket called Piggly Wiggly. And it was very hot because, you know, Alabama can be really hot. And I had not learned to read, and I had not learned that there were some distinctions between people because I grew up in Detroit and I'm here in the rural part of Alabama in the Piggly Wiggly supermarket. So I went over to the very clean water fountain and I drank some water. My mother was shopping. She wasn't paying all that much attention to me because I was a very independent child, like I am now. I still am a very independent person. And all of a sudden, a person who was stocking the shelves, a stock boy, came over and started to yell at me as a little one. I was probably maybe 3. And I've always been a very strong-willed person. And I was like, what is wrong with him, to myself and my 3-year-old self? And then my mother came over and snatched me up and said, you can't drink out of that fountain. And I saw that my mother seemed afraid or threatened by this young boy. He was like 16. He was a stock boy. My mother was a full-fledged woman. And he was a white-skinned young man. And so we didn't talk about it because, you know, you don't talk to 3-year-olds about things like that. But that was an impression upon me. And I could go on with more and more and more stories, but here's what I'm going to say. If you were 32 and you found out that there was a difference between people, you probably were not a person of color. I would guess that that's probably true. Now, it's possible that you were. And when I say person of color, I mean a person of African descent, a person who's indigenous to First Nation. I mean a person who's Latinx. I mean a person who's of Asian descent. I mean anybody who has brown skin. Anybody that has any shade of brown skin. So, did I start? Let's see, let me look at my timer. I only have 50 seconds left. I think I started at 5 minutes and I have like 6 minutes to speak. So let me say this.
You can actually, we had given you 7 minutes. So you've got
7, so I got 2 whole minutes
you
left.
got 2 minutes left, absolutely.
All right, Scott, do me a favor and let me know when those 2 minutes are up because I'm gonna stop my timer right now. And I'm going to say this. So I am honored to be the Chief Inclusion Officer of the Shift Network. And I am really proud of the Shift Network that they have actually brought someone like me into the fold. And one of my first assignments was to curate the racial justice stage at the Shift Summit and Music Festival. And so that curation happened from my life. Now imagine this. I have been a diversity trainer and a person who focused on racial healing. I'm a champion for racial healing, by the way, and reconciliation. And I'm an evolutionary. And so I don't believe in there being factions. I believe in there being teams of us working together to get this done. And so I have curated the racial justice stage to reflect things like police officers talking to you about what they feel about how their colleagues are behaving. White people who are talking about untraining whiteness, what it means to actually understand that there's a big part that you can play with somebody that you can play as someone with white skin. You know, for the last 25, 30, 40, 50 years, people of color have been leading this charge of racial healing. Well, it's time for us to have our partners come with us. And so we're going to talk about how to do that. What are the tools you need? What is it that actually needs to be done in terms of preparing your consciousness? We can talk and sing about brothers and sisters all day. I love that. But there is work to be done so that it's authentic when we come together. So that's what we're going to be doing with the racial justice stage at the Shift Summit. I'm there on Friday and Sunday. And the police officers will be with me on Sunday, just in case you're interested in talking to them. These are folks that I know personally from the LAPD, some of them, and some of them not. Some of them actually can't even say where they're from because they're not allowed to. But we're going to have a very raw conversation, even in a short period of time, about what it is that we can do to finally put this to bed. So that little girls who are 3 years old in the Piggly Wiggly store, even though that was over 50 years ago, whatever the version of that is now, that we can literally remove that from our experience as human beings. And so I think, where do I know you from? This is Evalie. I don't know. I've been around for a long time. So I do a lot of things. I am definitely very much involved in spirituality. I have my own coaching program as well. But there's no telling where you know me from because I keep moving all the time. So Scott, I don't know if you were able to receive the email that I sent you, but if you were not, what I'm going to do is to put into the chat an article that I wrote for the Shift Network. It was right after George Floyd, and this will give you a sense of my vision and my intention and my dharma. And it's about racial healing and what we need to do to really get it done. So thank you very much. Am I done yet, Scott?
Well, hopefully not, because we need your work. But I have pulled up the link that you sent me. And,
okay.
There it is. Riots, Racism, and Reproach. Is racial healing still possible? So this is, you can find it by going to the shiftnetwork.com/blog. And I'm guessing that if you then go to the search.
I just put the link literally in the chat.
Great.
It's literally right there.
Also,
and yeah.
Also want to support all the people watching on Facebook that they aren't going to be able to see it in the chat. So that's why I just want to let people know. You can go to the shiftnetwork.com/blog. And I'm guessing that if you then put in the search bar, riots, racism, reproach, it'll come up. So that's a way for people at home. I'll also, not tonight, I mean, not now, but after the show's over, I'll put this link into the chat box on Facebook.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. I need you to come be with me.
Thank you. I really appreciate the work you're doing very much. Yes. And looking forward to collaborating with you in the future. You know, speaking of collaboration, one of the things that both Deborah and I have been just marveling at is since the pandemic started, the remarkable collaboration of people. I'm from LA. I was born and raised in LA. I was working in the entertainment industry at the age of 17. And so honestly, I grew up in a very competitive world, a very competitive environment. And I have had to work on my competitive nature. I was a tennis player, a baseball player. I was a pretty competitive guy. And I'm just here to tell all of you, there's a way that these little butterfly cells that we are, the imaginal cells that we are, people are coming together and supporting each other in really beautiful, beautiful ways. And so many of the festivals that had to get shut down, everybody's supporting those festivals. So instead of it being live festivals that we're missing going to, now we're all going online. And it's been beautiful to watch how people have come together. And that's kind of how I want to segue into introducing this beautiful couple you're looking at. You're looking at John and Summer Raymer, and they are the founders of the Sign Network. And I love Summer's title. Her title is the Global Chief Joy Officer. They also are the creators of the Compassion Games. You might have seen them a week ago, Friday. They were on my Straight Talk show talking about the Compassion Games. And John is an entrepreneur, civic leader, inventor, and a musician. He's the co-founder of several collaborative technology companies. And he has created a solution which connected 7,000 law firms with their clients. He's taken what he learned in that kind of business realm and he's applied it to us, bringing us all together. And so along with Joy, who brings her quantum sovereignty and her soul-guided purpose and his soul-guided purpose, they've created the Sign Network. And the Sign Network is supporting the Shift Network, Saturday Night Alive, so many of us, helping us to get our messages and our information across. So welcome, John and Summer. And I'm so glad to that you exist. I just met you a couple months ago, and I feel like we're already friends. And so thank you, and love to hear what you have to say about the Sign Network, about the Shift Summit, and the ways that you're supporting people.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's just been such an amazing night so far, and such an example of, what the theme, let's make the shift happen. I feel it through so many of you that have shared, and the great music, and, this great call that the Shift Network is really, inviting us into, is being a part of the shift. And so I just want to say too, that I have been deeply moved in my soul journey through the Shift Network, through what Stephen and Deva have been offering for a long time. I can think of many gatherings, virtual gatherings that you all have hosted over the years that have supported me as I've continued to stay in the game and stay on my journey. So I just really am grateful for that. And that Hereditary Chief Phil, he is a dear family to us, and James Twyman. I mean, it's such a weaving here, and such an example of that. And yes, Scott, we feel like we've gone deep with you just in the last couple of weeks of getting to know you and Deborah. So yeah, just thank you for all of what so many of you do that are in this Zoom room.
Yeah. No, the truth is the time is calling for this. This is unlike anything we've ever experienced before. We're somewhere between no longer and not yet. And it's funny that you mentioned competition and like that, because the Compassion Games was a culture hack on the very idea that you can compete to do good in the world. You can't lose the Compassion Games. And yet I was so frustrated during the games with how difficult it was to collaborate with others. Everyone says they want to work together, but still we're so stuck in these silos. And the birth of the Sign Network really came because of a relationship with a number of us, Chief Phil being one who we met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in 2008. But then on a trip to Ethiopia with Ben Bowler from Unity Earth, with David Gershon from the Empowerment Institute, we realized that the traditional way of collaborating just wasn't going to be enough. It wasn't enough to say, okay, I like what you're doing. My board of directors, if they approve, will put your logo on the website. I mean, that ain't going to make it. So we built a network based on trust. That's why we have over 200 Facebook pages that are connected to each other. That's why we're able to make a sign wave in support of each other. And with the 11 days of global unity that are coming, it's the 16th year that that's happened, from 9/11 to 9/21. And in support of what Stephen and Philip are doing, what all of us are doing, so many people got the message that this is a time for us to unite. This is the time for us to have the tough conversations we were just talking about. You can see it emerging all over the place. And that's why we want to move up. This whole idea of an up convergence is happening as we move ourselves forward and challenge ourselves. And like James Twyman talks about all the time, it's like you got to really do the action. It's not good enough to just talk about it. Like Brother Phil says, all thunder and no rain. We need the rain. It's time for us to actually unite in ways we haven't before. So we've got a convergence with hundreds of people going to be presenting. We did this during World Unity Week. We had over 25 Zoom rooms where people were presenting to each other and converging and making these sine waves. And then we're going to come together during Peace Weekend and weave all of these incredible threads together. But we're going to launch a decade. We call it the By 2030 decade, to achieve the global goals and create peace on earth by 2030. There's so many initiatives and so many things happening. But if we do them independently, if we don't start looking to see how our shared interests are greater than our individual interests, and if we think strategically about how we can weave our strategies together, this is the thing I've been blessed with. This is the thing that I'm devoted to. It's from my roots as a musician. You know, Jonathan Granoff asked me, he said, what's the most important instrument in the orchestra? I didn't know. He said, it's the tuning fork. So can we attune? Can we do like you've been saying here? Can we find that peace within ourselves? Can we achieve that level of intrapersonal holiness for the interpersonal wholeness that we need to start to really change and strategize? There are members of Sign like Ubiquity University, but for 80 some odd days, Humanity Rising. There's so many groups that are saying, okay, let's try it together. We're better together. And practically, we're going to unload, we're going to unleash this playground. We call it the Up Playground by 2030 during the weekend, where we can unite for the next 10 years to achieve these goals.
So I just want to say too, that part of what is I'm so grateful that we've been brought into this particular night, that I, want to say, hey, what if all of us that are here, there's about 300 people in this Zoom room, and I know there's thousands of people watching online. What if tonight was the night that we made the shift that needed to happen? And I just want to say that John and I are calling you in the sense of inclusion, that there are voices that need to be heard, and that all of us have a role, not just the ones that are here speaking and singing that are seen as the evolutionary ones. But I want to say, hey, you that isn't spotlighted here, we need you. And part of the Up Convergence is a call to, like no other, a historical moment leading up to this incredible event that the Shift Network is doing. That September 11th, for 8 days, there is this calling for you to present, to be of service to this Up Convergence. That there is it is personal too. I have a lot to up my game about as well, in the sense of collaboration and what am I not doing, or what are the patterns before me that I can get out of the way for this greater unity and peace that I think all of us are, that Krishna Das is singing for in his mantra, that energy and that frequency. What is the action that James Twyman is calling us to? And in the prophecy, we are all prophets of potentially, oh my goodness, peace on earth by 2030. What is it? So there is an opportunity, and I know Scott has the website link, and we have about 34 seconds left. So I just want to make sure you all see that there's an invitation that we are the chosen ones. It's going to take all of us. So.
You know what it says there? There's a quote from Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. He says, "Remain true to yourself and move ever upward toward greater consciousness and greater love. At the summit, you will find yourselves united with all of those who, from every direction, have made the same ascent. For everything that rises must converge." So there'll be open space. Everyone's welcome to host a session, make a presentation. Let's distill and find out what are those solutions, like donut economics that's happening in Amsterdam and all over the world. There are the solutions, but we need the will and the way.
And also to be a part of the conversation, to participate. These are participation experiences that we need you to be in the Zoom room with us. So thank you so much. And I know our time is up.
Wow. We're on fire over here.
Thank you. And again, that URL, by the way, was peaceweekend.org. Peaceweekend.org. For those of you watching on Facebook, write it down, put it in right now. peaceweekend.org. We can get a lot more information about it. And in a little while, actually, we're going to hear from Philip, who's going to talk about the International Day of Peace. I want to thank our donors because it's pretty remarkable what's happening. And I'm really just so grateful. So here we go. I want to thank Heather, Natalie, Judy, Tim, Cherie, Kim again, a different Kim, Barbara, Dorina, Amy, Lisa, Jane, Gail, Christy, Susan, and Denise. Thank you all so much for your incredible generosity. And I know that August and Hannah and Misty and Trevor are very, very, very grateful. And now I get to turn it back over to my partner, Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. And thank you, everyone, again. And now we're going to bring back this musician. And I want to say he's definitely one of those people that chose to incarnate on this planet during these amazing times for his divine mission. For over 25 years, James Twyman has been known as the Peace Troubadour, and he's traveled in countries that were at war to share prayers of peace. He's been invited by peace organizations to Bosnia, Iraq, Northern Ireland, South Africa, Syria, to initiate world meditations while battles raged around him. And as he's participated, miracles have happened. He's also a New York Times bestselling author and continues his work tirelessly. So again, we get to hear some music from the beloved James Twyman. We need you to unmute yourself. Yep. Thank you.
Already. Thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure to listen to all the inspirational speakers and the musicians and everything, and to feel that convergence, the coming together. And if not now, when? I mean, this is such an opportunity. We've heard that said so many times today. And yet in this part of the program, I want to sing something that brings us back to our childish nature as well, because I think celebrating and singing and dancing is one of the clearest paths into the experience we've been sharing here all night. Earlier this year, right before everything kind of changed, I had the opportunity to do something I've always wanted to do. I had written a one-man musical based on the life of St. Francis of Assisi. And I traveled across the country from the West Coast to the East Coast, doing the show all along the way on my way to New York, where I was doing it as a 2-week-long off-Broadway show. But as I traveled across the country, I wanted to be as close to how Francis would have traveled and acted and lived and shared as possible. So the entire time, all the way from Portland down to California and all the way across, I traveled across the country with no money, no credit cards, no idea how I was getting from place to place or where I would stay when I did arrive. And it was one of the most blessed and fulfilling experiences of my life, because everyone stepped up. Everyone would, I thought I'd be hitchhiking or walking, not even once. And this is one of the songs that I shared during that musical. It's one of my favorite because it is uplifting. And I know this is a part of the program where we should feel that uplifting energy. So this is called Simple. Be like a child today. Don't overcomplicate what's simple. Yeah, so simple. Love's power in you is strong. You don't need to wait so long. It's simple. Oh, so simple. I do believe that you can finally see what I've tried to get you to understand. It isn't hard to see what has always been true. If you take my hand, just take my hand. Be like a child today. You don't need to throw away what's simple. Oh, so simple. I've tried so many times, but it was all just in my mind. It was simple, oh, so simple. The simple point is to never hesitate to offer the love you feel inside. That's the only way to never complicate and to keep your heart open wide. Be like a child today. You don't need to throw away what's simple. Oh, so simple. Here's what I'm telling you, that love alone is true. It is simple. Oh, so simple. Oh, it's so simple. Love is simple. me wherever you are. Love is so simple. Love is so simple. It is simple. Love is simple. Beautiful. Love is so simple. Love is so simple. It is simple. Love is simple. One more time. Love is so simple. Love is so simple. It is simple. Love is simple. Just be like a child today. You don't need to throw away what's simple. Yeah, so simple. Let's keep it simple. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And I actually want to show a couple things. Tell us a little bit more about the course you're going to be doing, inspired by your connection to St. Francis.
Well, I'm so thrilled to be offering my first class through the Shift Network. And it's so great to be able to share it on something and someone who I am so passionate about. As we said before, this is a radical time and it requires a radical response. And that was certainly true 800 years ago in the time of Francis. And what we often don't realize, and this has been mentioned tonight, that Francis lived at the very end of the Dark Ages. And yet his example, the way he started this revolution in Europe and the whole world, it was one of the direct lines straight to the Renaissance, this era of great creativity and music and art. And it's true, if we think about it, that we live in a rather shadowy time right now, but the shift is all about realizing that together, if we become a radical like Francis and take this seriously and do all the things we've been hearing and sharing here tonight, that we can create a new Renaissance. We can create a new era of light and brilliance. So yes, on the Shift Network, I'm pretty sure you can still watch the hour-long conversation that I had with Stephen. And then this Tuesday, we start the 7-week course. You can start it late if you don't get in there right away, but I'm just really super honored to be able to share this radical story of Francis and how we can apply it to our lives today in this very important time.
Beautiful. And also people can find out a lot more about all the things that James Twyman is doing by going to worldpeacepulse.com. So for those of you watching on Facebook or YouTube, it's worldpeacepulse.com to find out more. And you can receive emails from James by clicking there. So James, it's been just wonderful having you on the show tonight. And I hope you'll come back for our fall season sometime.
Oh, invite me. I won't say no.
All right, absolutely. Well, of course, we're talking a lot about the Shift Network, and it's my pleasure to turn it back over to the founder of the Shift Network, our co-host tonight, Stephen Diamond.
Wow. Well, thank you, James, for that inspired song and just so much beauty, heart beauty that radiates from you. So next I get to introduce one of our most beloved Shift colleagues who has been tasked with building a peace movement that can help us create a planet of peace by 2030, that we really can turn things around. And Philip has been dedicating his life to that for the last 8 years now. He has a previous history in the Peace Corps and Search for Common Ground. He's a very serious spiritual practitioner, and he is really extraordinary in his ability to just see and honor the beauty and blessing in so many souls. So he's really great at weaving larger people together, and he's created really, I think, the best International Day of Peace program in history. So Philip, welcome to tonight.
Yay, thank you, Stephen. And I just want to say it's such a delight. Deborah and Scott, thank you, and everyone who put this together. Such a delight to see all of our friends together here, or just many of the friends. And that's one thing I've enjoyed about peace building. It's all about relationships, and these relationships build up over years, if not decades. And so a lot of the relationships that you see here have been building over time, and there's a lot of others. It just ripples out. And one of the things I've noticed in, working in peace building now over 30 years, search for common, having lived in Sierra Leone before the war and went back during the war, and having seen that country go through a falling apart and going in and out of places like this, is that the hearts, minds, and souls of people all around the world are creating peace. It doesn't get the spotlight, but there's been this exponential wave of peace building emerging around the world, from interpersonal all the way to international, and it's been quietly happening at the Shift Network. For the last 8 years, we've interviewed hundreds of peace builders. You go to the World Peace Library, we have the first bird's eye view of looking at peace from inner to international, and it's available for free. It's a free resource, and so we've been celebrating that there is this emerging wave of peace. And now it's showtime. And the good thing is that this wave of peace building has been emerging around the world. And so there's all these people like John and Summer were talking about, all these people have been working on peace. And so these solutions exist. And so what we're going to do with the Shift Festival, we're going to have a peace stage. We're going to be looking at three things there: global collaboration between nations, healing trauma and collective wounds, personal peace in time of crisis. And those are prior to the International Day of Peace. And then on the International Day of Peace, and just so you know, in those conversations, we have many relationships we've been building over the last 8 years. Relationships I've been building over decades. People who are just real brilliant peace builders, like Uzra from the Alliance for Peace Building, and Michael Nagler, and people who are really in the trenches doing this and speaking. And then on International Day of Peace, we're just going to have this big party. International Day of Peace has been around since 1981. It's estimated that 500 million people around the planet celebrated the last few years. And it's a global birthday party. It's a birthday party saying, yes, we want peace. And so what we're going to do is, in this theme of let's make the shift happen, is we are going to have a major celebration, 8 hours. We're going to have ceremonies. We're going to have ceremonies by Kumi John Stewart, a flag ceremony acknowledging all the countries around the world. We're going to have a ceremony coming in from our partners, Uplift Connect, live from Jerusalem, an interfaith ceremony. And then we're also going to have a ceremony closing it by the Global Peace Initiative for Women, also another interfaith ceremony closing it. We're also going to have music peppered throughout there, music from Jerusalem. We're going to have Michael Franti, Ubal Ron. We're going to have a range of musicians that keep it kind of flowing. And then we've got these messages, and this is really sweet. We've got messages from over 30 young people from around the world sending their messages for the International Day of Peace. If you want to be touched, to watch children from Iran, Uzbekistan, El Salvador, and see all of them saying, we want peace. We're also going to have a youth panel from Poland, from the town next to Auschwitz. And they're going to be talking about a global peace center, which is going to be built there. So when people go through Auschwitz, they can come out, they can be devastated by the worst of humanity, and then they can see the positive potential of humanity and the practical ways we can avoid such violence. We're going to have amazing speakers like Jane Goodall and Dr. Bernard Lafayette. This man is a national treasure. He was with Martin. He worked right side by side with Martin Luther King in Selma, all across. He was with Martin Luther King in Memphis in the same hotel just prior to Martin Luther King dying. He left him that morning. Martin Luther King said we have to institutionalize this work. He's been traveling around the world building institutions of nonviolence. And his stories, the man he is literally a national treasure. He just spews forth this wisdom based on practical experience. We're going to have Deepak Chopra, Steve Kilauea, who created the Global Peace Index, which can measure the most and least peaceful country in the world and the economic impact of lack of peace. We're going to have Azim Kamisa with powerful stories. We're also going to have, we're going to premiere a film, Voices of Peace, with over 20 some peace builders from around the world telling stories of peace and how you can apply those in your lives. And so we're going to be just filled with incredible inspiration, celebrating this International Day of Peace. And it's going to be, and we're going to have reports out from each of the stages. We have all these different stages during the festival: business, social justice, arts, and all of those. If you think of a wheel, and like Barbara Marx Hubbard used to talk about the wheel of co-creation, all of these different sectors contribute to peace. And so we're going to be hearing from leaders from each of those sectors talking about what's the game plan to move that sector forward. And all of those, when you put them together, that is a larger vision of how to move forward with peace in the world. It's similar to the convergence that John and Summers happened. It's happening. Peace is happening. It's just more of just bringing our attention to focus on it and to celebrate it. So that's a quick glimpse. Summers nodding her head yes. And our good, it's just going to be a party. Chief Elaine Jr. is going to be there. Scott, how am I doing on time here? I think I'm probably pretty close to that.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close, but you're doing fantastic. Remind everybody the date and the best way for them to tune in.
Oh, well, the festival starts on September 18th. The International Day of Peace is September 21st. And so you want to just plan on celebrating that with your family, friends, and community, and with us and partners around the world. So thank you all. And also go to the worldpeacelibrary.com for a free resource from the Shift Network and that you can use with your family to find inspiration for peace.
And here it is again, the world.
Thank you, Scott and Deborah and everyone. And big thanks to Stephen and Deva for their commitment to peace over the last decade. And it's great to have Aaliyah as a colleague now too. So thank you all.
Again, it's the worldpeacelibrary.com. I've got it up on the screen right now. worldpeacelibrary.com. So many resources that are coming through in tonight's show. So thank you. We're winding down. We've got a speaker left and a little more magic left. But I just want to remind people that we're getting close to the community connection time. That's where you, if you're in the Zoom room, can come in and share 1 minute, we keep you to a minute, of what's inspired you. Maybe you're inspired by James Twyman's music, or by what's happening with the Sign Network, or by Paul's magic, or whatever it might be. But it's a chance for you to share what you've been inspired by, because we want to open it up to our community. If you want to be on Community Connections, you need to send me a text message in the chat box, in the Zoom chat box. Hey, Scott, I'd really love to come on and tell me what you want to talk about, who you were inspired by. And then I will promote you to being a panelist. Now, what's important is to make sure you're muted so that once you do come into the panel, you're muted so that you don't interrupt Deva or our magician during their presentations. So let me know if you want to come on in. And to introduce our next speaker, here's Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. And yes, we get to end our speaker program with a very empowered, incredible woman. Deva Haley Mitchell is a spiritual guide. She's a public speaker. She's a sacred partner of Stephen Dinan, our co-host. And she has co-founded the Shift Network with him, but she's also offered the Soulful Women program and devotional music to support feminine awakening of our planet, and the Inspiring Women Summit, which is a virtual gathering that had more than 53,000 participants from over 160 countries. But she's also got the best job in the world. On top of all that, she's a mother to 2 beautiful children. Can you imagine all that? And also being the Divine Mother, which is such an important sacred role. So I'm so happy to host and invite Deva to come on and share your heart, your wisdom, and however you'd like to cap off this incredible evening together. Deva.
Well, thank you, Deborah, and thank you for all the hard work you've been doing for so many years on behalf of our conscious community. And Scott, also blessings, and all the people that have made this possible. So I'm gonna do something a little different. I feel like what I wanna I know we're coming to a close, I wanna do a little bit of a transmission from the Great Mother, because when Stephen and I have really dreamed into our version of what is the shift about, at the core of it is really the balance of the masculine and the feminine. And the feminine, for me, is so about the heart. And as Deborah was just mentioning, we have 2 beautiful little girls. We have Phoenix, who's just 10 and a half months, and Sienna, who's 3.5 years. And just tonight, I was looking deeply into Phoenix's eyes, the little one, and she's this little bubbling being, this delightful bubbling being. And the joy that I feel when I look in her eyes is so immense. And then simultaneously, the heartbreak of what is the world that we're leaving for our kids, and the challenges that the next generation is going to inherit. And so as I feel into that for my own kids, I feel into the immensity of what the great mother, that universal life force that is feminine, must feel as she looks down at what's happening to the planet, all the beautiful innovations that so many of us are part of, and then at the same time, the devastation that's happening to the earth, the peeling back of so many advances for women, which we'll be talking a lot about on the stage. So I just want to invite all of us to, I'm just going to use my bowl here to help us just come into the mother energy together. And I'm going to do a very brief, whatever comes through from the Great Mother to me, but this is to that feminine part in all of us. We're all a combination of masculine and feminine. So that part that is feminine and that is connected to the children is what wants to come through now. So I'm just going to use this little bowl, and if you would just close your eyes and just drop into the center of your heart, the heart in you that loves so much and hopes so much and is part of the shift, and the part of you that also, like me, may be a bit heartbroken at the same time. So, and I'm just going to do a very brief little invocation here, and if you know these words, sing along with me. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. And now with me, just dropping into the middle of your heart, and the Divine Mother in me wants to speak to that sacred feminine part of you. My beloveds, thank you for hearing the call. Thank you for showing up and being part of the shift. We know that this is a precious moment, a moment that will not come again in our lifetimes. And we each know, you are the one we've been waiting for. The collective you. We are the ones, you are the ones. And now is the time, and we've known this, and you've known this. And so now we bring it into fruition. And so I call on you from the depths of my being to show up and do your sacred piece, because the world depends on it, and life as we know it, and the possible becoming the future that we want for all is in the palm of our hands and could slip away. We are beyond the 11th hour. We are at the 12th hour, and there is very little time, but it is possible, and we must each collectively do our piece. And I thank you. I thank you for showing up, and I thank you for going the distance. And this next period may be difficult, and we will be tried, and we are each called. So I invite you in this moment to close your eyes, drop in your heart, and let the Great Mother whisper into your ear, what is your sacred piece now? What is the thing that you can wake up for the next month and year committed to make a difference in your small way or your huge way? Because now is the time. There is no tomorrow. It is now. So just letting the silence speak. And I invite you, if you're called in the depth of your heart, to make a sacred commitment, a contract with the Mother Life herself to fulfill your piece of this sacred contract. And the universe will hold you to it because we're depending on you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deva, for just bringing us into such an extraordinary state. And I'm actually just going to have silence for a minute while we all ponder your request. And I want to invite people to put in the chat box, if you feel so called, to put any commitment that you want to, whether it's big or small, any commitment that comes to you based on this incredible, really divine channeling, divine inspiration through Deva. What commitment do you feel called to really make for the transformation of our world? While people are putting it in, there's some really beautiful commitments coming in now. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, everyone. If you'd like more of Deva's medicine, and clearly she has a lot of medicine, her web page, very easy to get to. It's Deva, DEVAA.com. DEVAA.com. And there's a lot there. You can learn more about her and her beautiful offerings and her medicine. Thank you, Deva. Thank you so much. And this beautiful commitment's coming through right now. Thank you. And again, a reminder that Deva and Stephen have put together this really remarkable summit, the Shift Summit and Music Festival, September 18th to the 21st, culminating with the International Day of Peace. Let's all go to theshiftsummit.com, register. This is going to be an extraordinary, truly life-transforming weekend. So thank you very, very much. I'm going to, we kind of decided to conclude with some magic. And I tell you, David, the magic you just created was really something. So I want to acknowledge that. And while Paul Draper is providing us with some more of his beautiful magic and fun, please, everybody, put your commitments in the chat box. And also, if any of you want to come in and offer a minute of inspiration, let me know so I can promote you to panelist. Hey, Paul.
Hi.
Well, thank you for being with us, and we're eager to see what you might have up your sleeve.
You know, it's funny. It's Deva reminds me of one of the most powerful theatrical moments of my childhood was in the Never-Ending Story, the young princess saying, "Say my name." And all he had to do was say her name, give that commitment, and he would have saved her entire world. In the same way, David calls on us to just say from our inner heart what's speaking to us so that we can save this real world instead of the theatrical one. And so that's the reality of it, bringing that truth to all of us. So I was working on the Navajo Nation as an anthropologist, and this is a Navajo flute, a Dene flute. They call themselves, the ancient name was Dene, the people, right? And this is a Zuni bear. The man who made it was Navajo and his wife was Zuni. The Zuni bears or fetishes tend to look like this. They have this heart line, this breath line, because they believe that they can meet you and take your hand and breathe you into their heart. They said that there used to be a world covered in ancient beasts and monsters with claws and fangs and hair, and they would eat us. And the gods said, "Don't eat them, we like them." And the beasts, they said, "We like them too, they're delicious." And the gods said, "Don't eat them or we will punish you." And they were punished. They were turned into little stone carvings. And they say if you're walking down a path and you see a stone carving, it probably is one of those beasts. Hold it up to your ear, and if you hear a heartbeat, it's still alive, like hearing the sea in a shell. Carry it in your pocket, it will learn to love you. And when your enemies are near, it will appear and it will devour them. Anthropology is fun. Let me play this for you, and then I'll show you an ancient piece of magic that I discovered. I was working as an anthropologist when we found a pre-Columbian, long pre-Columbian artifact, a clay vessel. It's from 800 years ago. The radiocarbon dating was 800 years old, wrapped in a textile from 600 years ago. So the United States has been around, what, 250 years? But 800 years ago, someone created this ancient piece of magic, and it was carried by magician to magician for 200 years until finally it was buried with one. And no one knew what it was. I realized that it was a piece of performance magic, ritual magic, and I had it recreated in the same material, same size, to share with you. Instead of gathering around the firelight, we're around the screen light to perform an ancient ritual. It's a clay pot filled with water. Empty, 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 empty. Imagine we gather around. The rains have not come. The land is dry and cracking. The animals are withering. We wonder, will we survive? Someone says, let's come together as a tribe and work to make the magic. Again, the magician is the threshold guardian who gives a visual representation of what the real magic could be. So everyone work with me. I don't know what their ritual is, but this is ours. Rub your hands together. The clouds start to form. Snap your fingers. The raindrops start to fall. Clap your hands. The clouds start to burst. Stop, stop. It became heavy in my hand. And just like that, you made it rain. Imagine 800 years ago, a community comes together and someone says, if we work together, anything is possible, that we can make the world green again, that we can make beauty together. If we all work together, rub your hands together like this, snap your fingers like that, the raindrops start to fall. Clap your hands, the clouds start to burst. Stop, 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 just like that. I felt it get heavy. You made it rain. I'd go to this summit just to see Deepak Chopra. He was a big inspiration to me when I was young. I'd go to this summit just to see Jane Goodall, a huge inspiration to me when I was young. And that list of names and the people here have been amazing. I have another piece of magic to share right over there. It's important right now, wherever we go, that we take care of each other, both in spiritual form and in physical form. So wherever you go, Wear your mask. Make sure to keep people safe. Wear that mask. And you can theme it to whatever you're passionate about. Think of your favorite color. Whatever it is, you can go on Etsy and support artists and make masks that match whatever you're passionate about. When I was a little kid, my favorite movie was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is a bag I picked up on a trip with my mom to Turkey. Inside is a piece of magic that I found when I was in China. I remember a few years ago, my mom was at the Magic Castle in Hollywood with me. And Neil Patrick Harris, the actor, was sitting next to her. And she didn't know who he was. And I heard them talking when I was behind the curtain. And Neil said to my mom, "Do you perform any magic?" And she said, "Just one trick. I make magicians appear. But I've only ever done it once." This was her favorite thing that I did. So I'd like to share it with you. 2 hoops of steel. You never get to see it this close. With a song from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where we all have a front row seat. It goes like this. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What you'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world. Nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Yay! I believe in the message of the shift, and it's time for us to have greater inclusion, more voices, to believe in the world that we can imagine it to be. Thank you for letting me share a little magic with you today.
Oh my God, that was just fantastic. Thank you so, so much. I went to gallery view so you can see everybody kind of applauding, and it was really great. Thank you, Paul.
You want to find out more about me? PaulDraper.com.
That's simple. And by the way, it's pauldraper.com, not there was an accident.
Mentalmysteries.com. They both take you there.
Okay, pauldraper.com, mentalmysteries.com. And I sure hope you'll come back and be part of our fall season.
I'd love to, anytime.
All right, great. Well, we're going to call on you. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. Oh, wow. Well, what an evening we've had. Every show we do is special, but this one has just been so heartfelt. And again, I want to thank Stephen and Deva and all the people from the Shift Network. And I'm going to turn it over to Stephen for some closing comments, and then we'll go to Community Connections. And a reminder, if any of you, I'll come back to me for 1 sec. A reminder again, if you want to come on and speak, I have brought a few people in as panelists. I might have missed because I was so enraptured watching the magic. So if you've asked to come on and I haven't responded, put it in the chat box again. Take it away, Stephen.
I feel like so much has already been said, but what I'm feeling called to share is just the moment when I got the vision download that I was supposed to create the Shift Network, and just it was how daunting it was, like to create like this global network, and I didn't have a background in business or media or anything. It took me 10 years to get it off the ground, and we've almost gone belly up several times, and it's just really, first of all, I'm really grateful that we're at a stage where we can serve as many people as we have, but I share it just because I feel like whatever came to you during Deva's transmission, however small or however big it is, just trust it. That if you just keep leaning in and you keep moving forward, you can make extraordinary things happen. It's a lot about tenacity and trust and surrendering to the vision of what you're here to do. And so we want to empower you in the ways that we can by amplifying the voices of great visionary change makers and partnering with every person who has a vision that is here to really help turn things around. And the world really needs it. We need to live. Dave and I really want to leave a beautiful world to our children, and I know you share that commitment as well. So thank you for showing up in this incarnation, and thank you for showing up with all the ways that you are here to create magic on this planet.
Thank you, Stephen, for everything that you're doing. And for her closing remarks, my partner, Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, David. Thank you, all the presenters. So much love that we have generated tonight. And that's really the bottom line that we're sharing here. So I really want everyone to really receive all this love, all this passion, and keep sending it out to everyone around you, because that's the bottom line of it all. And I want to invite you back again next week, where we're going to have another amazing show. It's going to be Indigenous Wisdom as a source for deep healing, transformation in our challenging times. And I think we all know that the Indigenous have a lot to teach us, have a lot to share. They have a big voice right now. We're going to have Chief Golden Light Eagle. We'll have Chief Phil Lane back, Flor de Mayo, Grandmother Flor de Mayo, Antarctica from South America, and incredible musicians and many other people. So don't miss that. And then on September 19th, we are going to be celebrating the International Day of Peace with Carolyn Miss, Matt Kahn, Swami Vyandananda, Jeff McBride, and many others. And we'll be the featured show on the Shift Summit and Music Festival. So it's going to be fun and enlightening again. So I invite you back. Please tell people about this show. Please share it. Because we want to keep growing and flowing and continuing on. And thank you so much for your donations. I think this has been one of the most largest donated funds that we've gotten. And it's really great that I'm going to be able to write some big checks to our recipients this time. So thank you so much. Thank you for all your love, and goodbye.
So while I get ready for the community connections, I just decided I want to show the Shift trailer one more time, because a lot of people came in later in the show. So for those of you that didn't see this, and for those of you who get to see it a second time, here's a little bit about what's going to be taking place in 2 weeks. I'm just going to pause it there so everybody can make sure they have the right URL. It's so simple, theshiftsummit.com. Everybody, please register. And we just have an amazing, it's going to be a really remarkable weekend. All right. I am going to read one last time the people that have donated, because we've received more donations since the last time I read that off. But I'm going to do that at the very end. So you still have time to donate and have your name mentioned if you like. or you can always donate anonymously. So we've got a few people that have asked to come on and share a little bit. And the first person I'm going to bring on is coming all the way from England. It's Alea Rose. And my gosh, in England, it must be like 5 o'clock in the morning right there. So I really appreciate people in Europe that are watching our show live. And Alea, the spotlight's on you. And what would you like to share tonight?
Hi, am I unmuted?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, I get up early to write, so I like the early mornings. You've all got such beautiful hearts. I just wanted to say I just feel so much with these shows. I just feel people's hearts. I don't know why. I just feel people's hearts, and I just felt so much with the channeling and so much with all of you. And I just wanted to quickly say when I listened to James, are you still on there? I can't see who's on there. I see heart tones in people's voices, and you have such a beautiful heart tone. And if it's okay to ask, if it's too personal, then don't answer. But I just wondered your feeling of St. Francis, because I've felt him for a very long time in lots of ways, and it's like a little miracle that I found someone else who also feels like that. I just wondered what your feeling of him is. That's all. If it's too personal, then you don't need to answer.
James isn't with us anymore. I think he logged off a few minutes. You just missed him. He logged off a few minutes ago.
Oh, that's why I had a feeling he'd gone. Okay, it will come another way. I just wanted to say that there's so much unity happening now, and there is this incredible peace when we all bring our hearts together like this. And shows like this, and people joining in their homes or around the world online, is bringing so much peace to the world. And I just wanted to quickly say that when we bring our hearts together like this and remember each other beyond our personality and our beliefs and our colours and our eye colours and what fruit we like to eat, there is this unity that goes beyond difference and goes beyond anything, where we can become one in our hearts. And then I feel we're very near to coming into divine peace. And when we reach that divine peace, I feel that will be the opening to peace on earth. Wishing you all a lovely evening.
Oh, thank you so much, Alea, all the way from England. It was just beautiful. And, you know, we do have several of our panelists who are still with us. And so if any of our panelists want to say something else, add something, you certainly are welcome to. Just pop a note to me in the chat box, and I'll put the spotlight on you. We do have two other members of our community that have asked to speak, and that's Cosmic Colibri and Shauna. So I'm going to go to Cosmic Colibri next. And there you are. Spotlight's on you.
Okay. Okay. I was a bit emotional. So I just briefly want to share where I am at the moment. So Cosmic Colibri is basically the holistic healing project I've been doing for the past 14 years. And I've been a proactivist, try to do projects, especially in countries like now I'm in Mexico. I work with cacao and massage and everything. And instead of running back to my safe place in Italy, I thought that I wanted to stay in a place where I could help. And I'm like, really, it's not easy here. Like every day I'm working really hard to put together a bit of money to be able to bring food to the kids in the orphanage. And I'm really grateful for all of you, because sometimes I feel that this really helped me, because I see people, I'm just 34, but I've been volunteer since I was 16 and try to change the world. And I was just sometimes feel like I didn't focus on doing my own business. I didn't focus on being a successful online teacher, or like becoming like one of these super cool priestess that everybody know on social media. And but then like, and I'm just like, sometimes today I was like, why I'm doing this? I'm just trying to do something nice. And when I was asking help to my more famous social media friends to help me share the page, promote my massage, try to raise funds for the kids, because I'm raising funds for orphanage. They are doing a holistic healing approach, and to the kids, especially kids with autism and coming from abuse family in Mexico. The government just get them and just throw them in these houses, and they're not really helping them. And just watching all these people that, for me, like all of you, the Shift Network, I managed to do things like study stuff that I could not afford to pay, because I dedicate most of my time, energy, and money to help people that are less fortunate, from my time in Palestine to the Locust Kid in India and here in Mexico. And so when I can connect online to this Saturday night, it really helped me to feel the strength, and not feel alone, and not feeling like, okay, I just to be at service and there are other people doing the same. So I really want to thank all of you for the support. And if you can put an extra prayer that I can manage to manifest soon some like healing device for the kids, I really appreciate. And thank you so much really for all these beautiful panelists, especially Scott and Deborah, for putting this, and I can access, even if maybe like a big summit, I will not be able to pay for it. But this, I can sometimes sit and just breathe some amazing healing here and be able to find strength to keep on doing what I'm doing. Thank you.
Thank you. It's just all, and it's amazing. We still have 170 people in our Zoom room, and at least 100 or 2 watching on Facebook. I just want to take a moment, and you represent so many millions of people who we don't know their names, they're not famous, who are making the world a better place. And thank you for every day, the service you provide. Thank you every day for the children you're supporting. I just really, God bless you, and God bless all of you out there for the small and large acts of kindness that you provide. And I'm really appreciating, our first 2 community connections people, one from England, one from Mexico, in Mexico, originally from Italy. And I love that we really are the global peace tribe, and you're helping us to remember that. So God bless you. Thank you. Our third and possibly final person from the community who wanted to speak is Shauna. So hi, Shauna. I got the spotlight on you, and if you could unmute, and what would you like to share tonight?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound good.
Okay. Thanks, Scott, and thanks, Deborah. I had kind of an aha moment today, and then hearing Reverend Alaya, who was talking about racial healing, inspired me to share this. So I'm here to promote the word and, A-N-D. It's a word of unity. It's a word of inclusion. And it's a word that brings expansion of thinking. I noticed people lately are putting one sign out on their yard, a political sign. I would like there to be 3 signs in their yard. When I drive to one town near me, the one sign I see is Black Lives Matter. Yay, that's great. And in the town I live in, I see one sign on people's yards, and it's in support of the police, which says, "We support and pray for our police." And yay. If I had my choice in my yard, I would have 3 signs. Yes, I would have, "We support and pray for our police." In the middle, I would have a really big sign that says, and then I would have a 3rd sign that says, Black Lives Matter. Because I think we can truly have all of that. We really need to have police reform. It's important that we have a total ban on chokeholds nationwide. It's important that we have a ban on no-knock warrants to prevent what happened to Breonna. So I just want to promote the word "and" because Black Lives Matter. And yes, we can also support our police in the important work they do in the community. So I just hope that we can have a lot more "and" in our worlds. Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. And you know, that's the thing. We can find the room in our big, beautiful hearts for all of it. There's room for us to really honor the challenge of Black people in this country and to honor the good police officers, the ones that do risk their lives, that are really, truly doing their best. And so you're right. There's room for all of that. And what a beautiful message of unity. Are there if any of our panelists want to say something? I'm just going to go to gallery. Summer. All right.
Can you hear me?
I love that background, Summer. It's amazing.
Can you hear me? Are we
Perfect.
good?
Yep, you're good.
John is still here. He's
cooking
cooking
dinner.
but I just thought I wanted to just speak to as well, hearing Cosmic, and also, you know, in light of what all the donations are going to for Hannah in August. I've just been feeling them a lot throughout the many hours, and you know how is this serving people like Cosmic, and how can the shift be a support? And I just felt like I wanted to speak up just one more time in regards to the Up Convergence. There really is a space for all to present in this Up Convergence, and it's really like a build up to this incredible event that the Shift Network is putting on. So right now there is a if you scroll down a little bit further, Scott, that right there, Join Us Team Up, that is, if you click there, it is an opening into many different opportunities. You can present, you can host a panel. I mean, it's really like an open space for so many of the very necessary conversations, and it is global. And I just want to make sure that, like, you know, Anna in August, they held grief programs in their home. That's what they did in their home. You know, how I hope that they continue to do that work, and maybe the Up Convergence can be a space for them to do that work, and also that they can be fueled and participate in conversations and experiences that are going to lift them, like to offer support to her phoenix wings, as she was saying. So I also really want to make it really clear that everyone is really welcome to participate and be of service to this Up Convergence. Racial injustice conversations. Hato, Bonton, and Antoinette were on Scott's show. Antoinette and I are inviting anybody into the Zoom room as we're having a conversation with Black women and white women about the racial divide. That it's like, it's inviting everyone into the Zoom room as well.
And restorative justice. Phil.
And I see Christy Michaels is asking, what is the Up Convergence? Can you describe it a little bit, please?
Multi-Zoom, like imagine 30 rooms. People are converging to talk about those topics and solutions that they're bringing forward. There are stewards of those rooms, everything from the divine feminine and sacred masculine, everything to peace and justice. And these topics are going to be shared together, and then we're going to harvest them, because the weekend of Peace Weekend is a harvest weekend.
That
So
the Shift Network is also the same
that weekend,
time.
that's
yes,
right.
Lots of things happening. That
We're unveiling a platform upon which we say it's the by 2030 decade. Like I was impassioned speaking before, Chief Phil would say, you know, we don't want thunder with no rain. We want to wake up on the 22nd and have a real start towards the work that needs to happen. There's so many people with so many great ideas. This is the chance to weave those strategies together. and convene and take on this next 10 years as the time to make the shift. The shift starts now, and we need to not stop until everyone is included and there's peace on earth and a world that works for everyone with no one and nothing.
Okay. Thank you both so much, John and Summer. I know we're going to be seeing a lot of you. We're certainly going to continue to work with you through Love Coach Academy, Shift Network. God bless you both. You're so just beautiful, beautiful.
Family.
Chief Phil, I saw you pop on. Do you want to say something, Phil?
Yes, yes. As you know, on September 1st, we released our moment of choice, which is the very, you might say, foundation of the fusion of science and spirituality. This is the foundation of this movement to the beginning of world peace by 2030. One of the articles, number 9, comes from a more in-depth reflection we'll have out the newest thing beginning 2012 on December 22nd. But I wanted to share these words here.
And Phil, if you could talk a little louder or closer to the microphone.
Is that okay? Can you hear there? Here we go.
It's a little soft, a little soft.
Okay, here we go. Okay, now, how's that?
That's better, thank you.
Okay, good. So I want to share from our moment of choice, these words I think could apply at this moment. Though the spiritual path that the Creator has traced for us many at times may seem lost in the ominous shadows that are now enveloping and stricken humanity, the eternal light that's continually shining upon us is of such brightness that no earthly darkness can ever eclipse its splendor. Though we are small in numbers and limited as yet in our experiences, powers, and resources, the divine force which energizes our vision and unprecedented concerted action is limitless, its range incalculable, its potency. Without question, the enemies, whom every acceleration in the progress of our unified work will rise up, are fierce, numerous, and unrelenting. Yet if we persevere, invisible spiritual hosts will, as promised, rush forth to our aid. It will enable us to vanquish any hopes of our destruction and will annihilate the forces of disunity. And so I really feel so deeply tonight what a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, absolutely beautiful coming together. And there's without question, there's no power on heaven and earth that's going to do anything but assist in the end this movement we have towards the fulfillment of who we are as human beings, moving from adolescence to our spiritual adulthood, everywhere in Mother Earth, all at once, everywhere, all at once. So I thank you. It's a great, wonderful bounty to be here, especially with relatives who give us a hand along the way. And I wish you a wonderful week as we embark further deeper into this transformation process that we're in right now at this moment. And I look forward to being with my dear Tahanshi, Chief Golden Eagle, next week.
Thank you so much. And yeah, Phil's going to be back on the show next week, a week from tonight, as we honor Indigenous elders. And we're going to have Phil, Grandmother Flor de Mayo, Chief Golden Eagle, and several others. I'm going to briefly just share the screen. Our friend, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her name, Cosmic Colibri, is inviting people to connect with her via Facebook. So it's just go to facebook.com/KOSMICKOLIBRI, Cosmic Colibri. So if you want to connect with her, this is a wonderful way to do it. So thank you. All right, I think that we're just about done for the night. My company, Love Coach Academy, provides 15 free online webinars every week, all free. The next one will be tomorrow morning, and it's actually one that I do. Every Sunday at 10 a.m., I do my Sacred Sunday show. Sometimes I have guests. Tomorrow, I'm going to actually speak by myself. I want to talk about what I'm observing as I work with people that are in challenging relationships. So that's free. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning. You'll find it. Just go to my Facebook page, or you can go to the Love Coach Academy page at 10 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow morning. I'm checking the messages here. Okay. Thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you to everybody watching. You know, it's amazing. We still have 150 people in the Zoom room. A lot of people still on Facebook. So thank you, everybody, for staying with us all the way through. Thank you for your donations. Oh, we have received a few more donations, so I'm glad I'm remembering to look at that. Here we go. I want to thank Deborah, Marjorie, Raymond, and Heather. Those are the 4 people that have donated since the last time I spoke. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. All right. This is Love Coach Scott Katamas on behalf of Deborah Giusti and all of our panelists and the Shift Network. Thank you very much for watching, and share this out so more people can discover the work that we're doing. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week. Good night.